Tire Studios, the home of the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins. Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Only 4 days and counting now for the Celtics, who'll play Dallas in Game 1 of the NBA Finals Thursday night at TD Garden. This is a very long break for Jason Tatum, who now hasn't played in a game in a week.
Yeah, he did everything the team did. What we didn't, we'll go significantly harder tomorrow. But today was kind of moderate. But he went through everything that the team did today.
That is Joe Mazzulla talking about Kristaps Porzingis. One online report yesterday indicates the Green are also examining the possibility of adding Jeff Van Gundy as an assistant under Mazzulla next season. He would replace Charles Lee, who's leaving after the finals to become the new head coach in Charlotte. As for the Stanley Cup playoffs, the finals are set. Edmonton was outshot 35-10 last night, but they still hung on for a 2-1 home win over Dallas to win the West in 6 games. They visit the Florida Panthers for Game 1 of the best of 7 on Saturday night. Detroit scored 4 in the top of the 10th inning to beat the Red Sox 8-4 at Fenway Park yesterday. Rafael Devers a game-tying homer for the Sox in the 8th. They split a 4-game series with Detroit, and they're back at 500 again. They have tonight off. They'll play Atlanta at Fenway tomorrow night. The Washington Commanders yesterday cut kicker Brandon McManus. He's the subject of a sexual assault lawsuit in connection with an incident on a plane to London while he was playing for Jacksonville last season. And in tennis, round 4, the French Open is continuing in Paris this morning. Top seed Novak Djokovic among those scheduled to play. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Premier Basement Waterproofing. Beat the heat with the industry-leading Santa Fe dehumidifier in your basement or crawl space to live comfortable all summer long. 844-LIVE-DRY or premierbasement.net. It's game over for water. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are the Toucher and Hardy Show, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Town Fair Tire Studios. Give us a jingle jangle. Give us a jingle jangle. 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Hardy's on it constantly, monitoring what you're saying, if you're behaving. And you can go there to go to YouTube and then search 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's that simple.
You know what? Ha, ha, ha. I was looking at YouTube just a few minutes ago. One of the things that pops up over there on the right. Look at that. Toucher and Hardy live on YouTube. Because I already subscribed. I smashed that subscribe button. I just I logged on right now. Oh, look at this. The community is already chatting away.
Now we have there's an algorithm. Now that we're on the algorithm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know you like to say the word algorithm. Yes.
Well, that's what it's all about. It's all about the algorithm. I mean, come on, Hardy, get with it. It's 2024.
I just like the fellowship that goes on here. It's just people logging on and get a little fellowship.
Yeah, I get my fellowship on Sundays with the man upstairs. That little break in the service where they say, "Hey, go out and say hello to your fellow people in the pews."
A little shaking of the hands, a little pressing of the flesh.
A lot of times people don't want to shake hands, so you go, peace. Hardy, you wish them peace. And not like necessarily peace on earth, but peace.
So John Mulaney does a bit about that, Fred, where he talked about going to church for the first time like in 20 years, where it used to be peace be with you. And then, as Dan O'Brien could tell us, when someone said peace be with you, what you used to say is,
And also with you.
but you don't say that anymore.
Do not.
What do you say now?
Definitely caught me on a. It's Monday morning. You
Dan-
say
it's
He doesn't
Dan-
go to church anymore.
No, you know why? He's selling them wagons.
Yeah.
That's because he's Dan the Wagon Man now,
Thank
and
you.
he can't be bothered. Sunday was a nice day.
Booming.
Yeah, Sunday used to be a day of reflection. Now it's a day of moving wagons.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know Dan the Wagon Man, our own Dan O'Brien is Dan the Wagon Man. This is true. You can go to danthewagonman.com. He doesn't sell them. He rents out wagons, some for the season. He's had some listeners reach out to him saying, "Can I take them out of state?" And Dan the Wagon Man said, "Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take them."
I'm not bringing it to you out of state, but no.
So what Dan does is he makes his own wagons. And
Custom beach wagons, yep.
All right, Dan. Custom beach wagons. He makes it. I would say that you just put a hat on a hat. Is that I said you made your own wagons. And you said custom beach wagons. I don't think you made them from a kit, but they're custom beach wagons. Now, custom for the well. All right, let's be honest. Are they really custom? Like, do you make them for the demands of the people that are renting them, or do you just make them?
They're customized for the environment that they're suited for the beach.
All right, so they're not customized. They were just
Modified.
No, because you don't modify them for per order.
Well, the question
I do
is,
not.
what is a standard beach wagon? I think that's what the argument
Well,
is.
the thing is that Dan the Wagon Man is from a family of 100. His mom, oh boy, her birth canal. They had so many children, and she is one of a million.
Yeah.
So there's actually a lot. They're very Catholic. The sage Catholic advice of never pulling out. And here's the deal. And then Dan has a brother who has taken it to the other level. I won't steal the joke. I'm going to steal a joke that was said in the meeting because it just sets it up better. Is that he made a wagon. He actually customized a wagon for someone in particular. It features a $2,000 battery, and it does look like something from a Dr. Seuss book, or when Inspector Gadget had something go wrong, like with his crap. It's
Just no trench coat involved, but yes.
oh well. I mean, he could. I mean, I don't doubt that it could put one in there, and that automatically opens, and then pays the fine for public indecency. But it has like an umbrella sticking out of it. It's got it's so. Did he steal your idea of Dan the Wagon Man and like kind of take it up a notch?
I stole it from him.
Ah, good for you.
Is this like a
Dan.
Gallagher situation where the brother looks just like him? He's doing something that looks just like him. He's kind of franchised it.
In all seriousness, is your brother pissed that you're making wagons too?
He is not. Not at all. He started doing it because, as being a plumber, he came up with the idea of, wouldn't it be a great way if you could have the umbrella into the wagon and not have to dig the hole in the sand? That's how it all started. No, he is not.
Now, what does that do with being a plumber?
He made the modifications are made out of PVC pipe, out of sturdy plastic.
Oh, and that's
Yes.
the tools of the trade.
Yes. So that's
Okay.
what he uses. Pipe glue, and as Hardy said, all that stuff. Cement glue. But no, he's not unhappy at all. He actually, when I told him of what my idea was, he said, you should call a plumber.
He cried. He cried with pride. Now, Dan, can I ask you a controversial question with plumbing? Trano, yes or no?
Not a big fan of it, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. I have a clog. I have a pump that's not working. Larry, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Hey, I just wanted to say this Saturday I played an exclusive for me, a private golf club. I played terrible. I head over to the outdoor bar, and then I just hear that smooth, majestic voice of Hardy's come ringing across the bar. He was sitting there with a couple of gentlemen, one of which was giving him verbal fellatio the whole time about his golf game.
Huh.
But I was just curious, Hardy, how did you actually play Saturday? I played terrible.
I played better on the back. I was 44-41.
You got fellatio?
Yeah. But it's outdoors. It's not in the clubhouse, so it's okay.
Okay, because you got to take your hat off.
Where were you sitting? Why didn't you come up and say hello?
I didn't want to bother you. I was right across from you. The young man there that was talking to you was really kind of gassing you up a little bit. I didn't want to interfere.
That's what Hardy demands from the people around him is constant praise. What was he saying about Hardy?
Oh, he was just like kind of talking about his game. I remember Hardy saying something like, "I'd rather have a full iron shot than the short close shots around the green." He was having a hard time with his chipping game.
How boring!
Yeah.
And so
What?
These are the boring people that go in and they play golf and then they break the round down.
And then we break the
afterwards.
round down. That's it. This is what I like to do. This is how I prefer to spend my time. Yes.
Oh, how
Yes.
boring! I mean, like, there's nothing else going on in the world, right, Larry? No, Larry's gone. He got
Okay.
bored with you too.
So this is going to be a real problem a week from today
Whoops.
when you and I will play golf together for the very first time. I am starting to get just an inkling that maybe you're not going to take this seriously.
Well, are we playing as a foursome with the people for that they?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'll take it as seriously as the people that are playing with us want to take it seriously. I mean, I like playing golf, so it's not like I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna smoke meth and then run around the course. I mean, I'm gonna try. I've only played twice and I haven't played well, so I'm just telling you now that I'm. And then with you, I'm gonna not. It's not so much nervous. I don't know if you guys can relate to this. It won't be nervous because I won't feel nerves. It will just be like when I make a mistake, it will begin a series of mistakes because I'll overthink.
All it takes
The
is
whole
one.
thing.
All it takes is one.
Now, one of the good things that happened is Felger and Maz went for far more money than us, so I don't feel the intense pressure to entertain.
They got to do the full song, dance, seltzer down pants.
Yeah.
That's a big ticket that they went for.
Yeah, because they went for like $7,000. Now we went for a good amount of money. We went for over $3,000, which is a lot to play golf. And it depends if the people want to be entertained and they want me on, like being funny and trying to be funny and stuff. I can be funny. If they want me to be, I quit being modest. I can be funny. It's one thing I can do. If they want me to be like funny and stuff and like tell stories, I can do that. And if they are serious about golf, I mean, I can try my best. I'm going to be the worst.
Here's what I
If they're
need
serious about golf, I'm going to be the worst.
Let me just tell you what I need you to do. Okay?
Yeah, you tell me what you need.
This is what I need.
This is every morning. This is what I need from you.
Okay, if these guys are serious at all about maybe making a few birds out there, and they want to put down a decent score, a little bit. What I need you to do is pay attention, maybe just a little bit, to the order, just to the order. Who's going to putt first? And it's mostly about the putting. It really is. Mostly about the putting.
I would assume you'd want me to putt first.
I don't know. Maybe you're a great putter.
No, I'm not. So what I would assume is that you guys could discuss the situation in the break. You could give me like a little bit of advice. I mean, I play golf. I'm not like going to sit there and like knock it off the green, but then I can give you a little roll.
Most importantly, we're going to need you to focus on the speed, because if all you do is like, okay, I'll go first, and then you just, send every putt 10 feet past the hole, like, great, Fred, that doesn't tell us a whole lot.
So it sounds like this is solved. Fred's going to go first on every hole when you putt.
Not necessarily.
That's what it sounds like.
Maybe he's going to be a fairway finder off the tee, and he's going to go first. Go second or third off with the drives and stuff. But in terms of putting, I don't know. It depends. Will you be willing and open to conversation about strategy throughout the round, Fred? Yes or no?
How could I turn down strategy? I mean, like, what am I going to do? Like, just sit there and go,
It's going to be forced upon you.
You could be the typical Fred Toucher and go, no, I'm not doing that. No.
Okay.
That's you. That was my imitation of you.
When was that me?
That's like every day of your life you do
know
that.
what?
That's your favorite
No.
thing to do is go, no. When the guy told you to tuck your shirt in and you said, no. Remember that story you told last week?
You may have a point
I didn't
here.
tell this story last week, but yeah. Well,
Stop for the landscaping. Can you stop right there? No. I'm going around.
well,
no.
touche. I guess I do say no. but like defiant to people that paid money to hang out with us and just go no. No, I don't think I'll do that.
Good. Then we're going to be fine.
I did disobey someone trying to block traffic again. I was going. I had the kids this weekend. Their mother-
Probably an ambulance. Go ahead.
Damn. Okay, you blew the story. No, it was a school bus, and there was all these kids getting on. I'm like, who do you think you are? No, I was.
That's not a cop.
So I lived the house that I lived in before I moved. The mother of my children still lives in, and she was out of town, so I had the kids all weekend. But I was taking care of her dog, so I had to go over to her house a lot. And I was with my son in the car, and there's this corner. And I told John, you were on the show, Hardy, you weren't. When my kids were little, we were on the street, and one of our neighbors who's lived there forever came up to them and said, "Be careful here. A kid got hit by a car and died here."
Oh my gosh!
And so I was like, "Thank you so much." And then so I'm coming around this corner. I'm aware, and then the neighbors they love bicycles, and their kids are all riding bicycles. They're little kids, like even the ones without pedals. And
oh yeah, coaster bikes.
And so so I come around the corner going. I mean, I might be going 5 miles an hour. I mean, I'm hauling ass. And this old lady is standing there, and she frantically puts her hands up, telling me to stop. And I'm like, "You old bag, I can tell that they're I know what's going on here, stupid. I've eyes. Don't tell me to stop. I know what's going on." And so I shook my head at her, and then I had to park right next to her. And you know what I did? I got out of the car, talked to the guy who was father of the kids with the bikes, showed her up nice, told her, I let her know, you ain't blocking traffic. Yeah. And then I thought about it, and I think there is a point to that. I don't like being told what to do. Here are the two things I don't like. Phony baloney people that pretend they're one way and then act the next and tell lies, but will tell you that they never lie. And so people are like, "Oh, you're like catching the ride. You're like holding coffee a little bit." That's why that's a classic book, because I think a lot of people relate to that. I don't like phony people, and I can sniff them out, and it drives me crazy. I don't like putting on an image that you're such a great guy, or you're this and that, and then I know you're not, you phony baloney. And then I also don't like being told what to do, by people that aren't in positions of authority.
Let me see if I can hit the trifecta here. Watch this. Gee whiz, Fred, I think this story is great, but you know me, honest to a fault. It's time to go to break, so go to break. See? 1, 2, 3. I gave you the phony baloney. I told you I never lie. I told you what to do.
So you said the story was great. It's not great.
No, it is. There's something in your face, though. If I saw you behind the wheel of that Bronco, I might step in front of you, too, and tell you to stop. There's just something in the eyes.
It's a slice of life I just gave you.
Yeah, but I don't blame the woman for seeing you and saying, stop driving.
No, how about get out of the road? How about not telling anyone what to do? How about minding your own business? No one's hitting anyone. You're not protecting anyone. Mind your own business.
I thought a kid got hit on that street.
Yeah, in the 70s. Yeah.
How many times do you
Probably a guy who was drunk, was going 90, hit the kid, and then they gave him a misdemeanor. They probably wrote him a ticket.
How often do you think the woman likes to tell that story?
Oh, knowing her, since I don't live there anymore, probably any kid she sees, it's probably quite a thrill. In fact, the neighbor had this work order. I guess they've been worked under their house for a month, and now they have this. All of a sudden, they have this work order, pinned to the door. I have a feeling that's because of the neighbor. Does the town know about this?
Oh, lovely.
And does the town know about this? All right, very good.
Turned off.
Guys in the audience, that was a bad story. I'm just trying to give you a slice of life, people. I'm just telling you about my weekend.
No one said it was a bad story.
You did. That's specifically what you said.
That's because I was trying to be a phony baloney in my delivery.
Phony baloney.
It was a great story.
Oh, the lying. Oh, yeah. I don't care for it. I don't like it. And that's really the problem with the hippies. They go one way.
No, new week.
They go one way.
New week.
And then they go another. No. That's my problem with them, is that there's this they act like they
talk about the hippies some more. I'm gonna go see if Jason needs a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
Oh, the police officers that's here monitoring us because of the hippies? Oh, the fact that we have a police officer that has to stand in here all day because of the hippies threatening me?
That's right.
Okay, very good. Thank God. Well, listen, the guy gets to make a few shekels. He's a handsome, nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Yes, we have a police detail here because of threats made to me and the rest of the station. So congratulations to the hippies. All right, you brought him up. I didn't know if I was supposed to, so I brought it up. So you brought it up, so I let it go. Now I'm really playing the sympathy card. All right, so what happened last night? Hardy, you tell me. I got fever.
What?
I was at the Red Sox game, for Christ's sake.
Okay, but that was yesterday afternoon. What happened last night? There was a hockey game last night. I'll tell you what happened in the hockey game. And then we'll talk about your precious Tigers-Red Sox game that you attended. And I was very impressed with one specific detail of your attendance yesterday, Fred. We'll talk about that, too.
Ooh, very exciting. We will be there to talk about that in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Instagram, and someone said, when I said about the YouTube and we made the joke about the fellowship, the guy said, yeah, I'm sure it's all about fellowship, not some success metric tied to your year-end bonus. I assure you I don't get a bonus based on YouTube. I assure you that is not written in my contract.
YouTube bonus.
I'm just saying it because I think that if people want to watch the show, I was talking to someone I recently met, and this is just about radio in general, not about us. And they were saying, like, I can watch you on my TV, I can have it on Alexa, and I can, like, Alexa in my bathroom while I'm in the shower. I can have it on my computer and then in my car. Like, I want people to consume the show as much as possible. And while we're on the subject of the internet, someone on Instagram sent me something, and it's a video of the beginning of Who's the Boss. Does anyone remember the credits of Who's the Boss, the opening credits of Who's the Boss? Nope. There's a montage of the life of Tony Maselli, played by Tony Danza. Now the story is he was a professional Major League Baseball player who hurt his shoulder. Now, get on your computer. Unfortunately, they were still in caveman days without female umpires. And then they're not even attempting. He doesn't even have a batting helmet on.
Yeah.
Because they
shenanigans.
Well, maybe it flew off when he was rounding third.
Well, everyone else seems to be wearing non-major league uniforms, and there's, I don't know, no crowd or seats for crowds to sit in. They kind of popped that whole thing together. I mean, the show ran for 8 years, and there was nothing stronger than the 8th year when Samantha and Tony will both go into college at the same time.
Oh.
I don't know, Angela. I've always been wanting to go back to school. It's funny you see me hold books on the account of stupid.
Yeah.
Mona, you whore. Hey, Mona, you keep sleeping with everyone. And then until Fred got older, he didn't realize you were kind of hot, like in a goofy way. Hey.
So you're saying that was not an accurate depiction of how he would have hurt his shoulder in a Major League Baseball game?
I'm just calling into question if you're a ABC television show back when there were maybe Fox had just come on the scene. Let's be bold and say 4 networks that you couldn't get it together to go like to the Dodgers. Hey, maybe this winter I could use Dodger Stadium, and just so there was some that I do it at a ballpark. A AAA ballpark, a single-A ballpark. You don't just go out to a sandlot and then pretend it's Major League Baseball.
I would say this is probably true of a lot of shows from the 80s and even in the 90s. I was always amazed that they would put together the opening credits to the opening theme and have these really cheesy shots outside that have nothing to do with the show. And as the show goes on for years, they never bother to go back and change it. And even like some of the mannerisms of the characters, they don't look the same anymore. It has nothing to do. It's cheap. It's cheesy. And the show is a success. Why don't you go back and change the opening montage there? But they won't. There's no, that's set. That's set. We're not going to change that now.
No. You don't mess with what's working. I mean, come on.
They had to change it with the Brady Bunch because the kids look so remarkably different. But
it was the same concept.
Same concept, but at least they updated the B-roll of them sitting there looking at each other in the squares. Oh, who's up there?
Yeah.
Oh, who's
So
down
the
there?
8th season of Who's the Boss, Tony Danza goes off to college with Samantha. And Jonathan Bauer, the son, who had a pivotal role in the series, that's when he went full Rambo, out of the military, disenfranchised with everything, and is living in the woods, killing prey.
You just mentioned something very interesting I forgot to tell you. We had a surprise house guest over the weekend. My wife's cousin, younger cousin, who is a Navy man, but as part of his training, got shipped up to Logan Airport on Friday. They wouldn't tell him anything other than like what shuttle he had to be on. I think Sunday. I forget what day he showed up, Friday or Saturday. But the whole thing is they're taking him out to the woods. They're going to be in the woods. They're going to be dropped off for a period of like 3 days. Then they will be captured, each one of them is given one piece of information that they're going to try and extract from them. They have to see if they can hold out through various means of torture, and then they will be allowed to escape back into the woods after 3 days, and at some point after that, they will be rescued. I said, you're doing what now?
Oh, God.
But he needed a place to stay on like Saturday night. And
This is going to be the last warm bed I sleep in for like 10 days.
They said, yeah, they're sending us up here Saturday night, but we don't have to be in like New Hampshire until Sunday afternoon. So we're like, yeah,
man.
come stay with us. We'll have dinner. We'll have breakfast the next morning. It'll be great. I made him, pick up dog poop for me in the yard Sunday morning before I could cut the grass. He's not going to get a free room and meals. He's going to have to do something.
I see.
To earn his keep.
Being tortured,
But
simulated
yeah,
isn't
that's
enough.
so. Right now, I think they
After
got
your wife uses the lavatory, I could do that.
they've got classroom work this week, and then they're getting dumped in the woods.
You know what, I'm going to call into question to the validity of fake torture, because if you gave me information and I know like you can't really torture me, I mean the threat of when the enemy tortures you is, they could really like chop a finger off, like chop your tongue out, chop your balls off. Like there's a bunch of stuff they could do.
But you know what they
the
said?
U.S. military is not going to do that to you.
They're not, and two things. Number one, if he's Navy, why does he have to go out into the woods? Apparently, anytime you have you have to fly over enemy territory.
The Navy's not exclusively on the sea.
Yeah, he like works in a plane. Okay, whatever.
Oh God, you're told so much now. Now, not only the police officer going to be here guarding me.
State secrets are out.
No, I'm not giving away anything.
The Secret Service is going to come in here.
I was going to say the guys with the sunglasses are going to be here in no time.
But I think what is maybe the most effective outside of chopping a finger off, sleep deprivation.
Oh no, the whole activity sucks. Like I'm not saying it doesn't, and I'm sure it's going to, it has a purpose in like keeping him alive in the woods. The only part that I'm questioning is that if I was like tough like that, I'm sure that guy is, and I knew mentally, the mental torture wouldn't be there because I would just be like, I would never tell you because ultimately you can't really hurt me. Like you can't do anything that's going to really permanently hurt me.
But if you're awake a lot for like 2-3 days in the woods and then you get captured, I don't know what more they'd have to do other than you can't go to sleep until you tell us this thing that we want.
But then do they really let you go to sleep?
Well, if you tell them, then maybe they would let you go to sleep.
So they reward you for telling? I see.
Maybe it's just this job. You could bribe me to do anything with the promise of sleep.
I think it is just his job. I think. What are we, 5 months into this?
Yeah.
He's hit his breaking point already. You hit your breaking point about 4 days in, if I remember right.
But, you know what? Yeah. You know what? It's all about eating right and exercising hard. You get where I'm at. Evan, go ahead.
Hello.
Evan. Oh, Evan. Evan! Oh, Evan.
That's terrible.
Oh, Evan. I don't like it. Tom, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. So the young nephew's going through what's called SERE, Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape.
Okay.
And the key part of that is a lack of sleep. And so this little tidbit of information is kind of interesting to go through.
Okay, so so you went through it?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I did it probably 30 years ago at the Air Force with the Air Force Academy. But yeah, it was 30 years ago. But
Could you mentally?
It's fascinating what you find out about yourself.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that it's difficult. But my point is, did you know in the back of your head, like, hey, they really can't hurt me? So, like, is it?
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. There's things called stress positions that can hurt a lot, right? And some of the scenarios that you've ever seen on TV of what happened overseas, they can put you in some pretty uncomfortable positions. And when you put lack of sleep in there, lack of food, I mean, there's some really funny, weird stuff that they can do to make it like, Jesus, how far can they really go?
Now, so you're uncomfortable, and then you give them the information that they want. Do they actually like let you like chill out then, or does it like end?
No.
No. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. There's sort of a time window, but you don't really know what the time window is, right?
Right.
They do, but you don't. So it goes on for several days. It's, the first two parts, survival and evasion, they teach you how to use a compass and run around the woods, and they chase you, and, they log in your book, and if you get caught too many times, then you fail, right? So you're really trying to play this pretty serious, and what plants you can eat, how do you catch a fish? All these really helpful things. And then the second part is they capture you at the last checkpoint, and they take you through it's pretty fascinating training, I got to tell you. Oh. Isolation and, duress.
Yeah,
it's like trying to withhold info.
Tom, what did you learn about yourself?
One is the need for hope, right? And then the second part is at the end when they rescue you, if you will, just the patriotism of seeing the American flag get hoisted. I'm telling you, it is a meaningful exercise when they hoist the flag in a POW compound that you've spent a couple days in. And then the last thing, one of the experiments is you get buried alive in a trash can, right?
Geez.
And I'm telling you, to this day, I'm a little claustrophobic. I am.
Is this like Navy SEAL stuff?
Oh, my
like
Lord.
what? I know it's not. It's
Yeah, he was Air Force.
He was Air
I
Force.
think anytime there's a chance that you're going to be behind enemy lines and captured as a POW, you have to go through this training.
no, Tom. But you were like in an advanced Air Force training, right? This isn't. Not everyone in the Air Force does that training, correct?
Every military academy person will go through this training.
Okay, yeah.
But pilots would go through it in the Air Force, SEALs, Delta Force.
Yeah.
Probably Rangers go through it too, but it's not the average
Yeah.
layman goes through this training.
Yeah, because this sounds like very advanced training. This sounds like for the best of the best. And Tom, you are one of the best of the best. It sounds like.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love the show. Take care.
Thank you for your service. My goodness.
Ben has a very pertinent question. Ben, go ahead.
Freddie, baby.
Hey, Benny boy. What's up?
Lots of love, the Twitch Nation. We're here on the YouTube. Mr. Hardy, would your nephew or cousin or whatever this freeloader is he allowed to call Dan the Wagon Man to help load his things through the woods and survive?
See, that to me would just be smart, and I think he should receive commendation for having the wherewithal to go to danthewagonman.com.
In my ear, Dan just said they're for the beach, not the woods. And then he said, military guys, half off.
Half off. Half.
Oh, I thought knowing you, it was the first one.
No, half. Half.
All right.
Yeah. If you're in the military, Dan the Wagon Man, he'll just give you a wagon.
Take it.
Just
If you want to take it in the woods, take it in the woods. I'm not going to follow you.
No, but you won't charge him either. Just if you can prove that you had military service, you're
in.
Because Dan won't let you get on the plane first, but he will give you a wagon. I'm just kidding. He won't. Don't call me on that. Don't call Dan the Wagon Man on that. DanTheWagonMan.com. Kids get into radio. You got to have 17 side businesses nowadays. All right, we'll be back. We might talk about sports. It's possible. This is what I would rather do this
Mike could.
than hear constant Celtics talk this far away. But there's a lot of time between now and the NBA Finals. The team we won, one team in hockey won that we wanted to win, and that happened last night. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Let's talk about the NBA Finals. Celtics in Dallas play at TD Garden Thursday night in Game 1 of the best of 7. Kristaps Porzingis' status remains up in the air, although he did go through practice with the team on Saturday. Former ESPN and New York Times NBA reporter Mark Stein reported over the weekend Celtics are looking at possibly adding Jeff Van Gundy to the coaching staff next season. He's currently a consultant for basketball operations. In NHL news, Edmonton beat Dallas 2-1 to win the Western Conference Finals in 6 games. They visit the Florida Panthers in Game 1 of the Finals Saturday night. And the Red Sox lost to Detroit at Fenway Park yesterday, 8-4 in 10 innings. The two teams split a 4-game series. Red Sox off tonight. They welcome Atlanta to Fenway tomorrow night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Cape Cod Lumber and CCL Homescapes. 100% employee-owned. You go to Independent Lumber Yard. Partner with CCL and CCL Homescapes for all your building needs right in Abington. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Coming number 2. Toucher and Hardy are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Go ahead, Hardy.
All right, well, Florida Panthers punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup final over the weekend, unfortunately. So we're not going to have a Rangers-Oilers final. But the Oilers and the Stars hadn't finished things up between the two of them until last night.
McDavid, top of the circle. Now Draisaitl coming off the goal line. Finds McDavid, heading for the net. Around Steele, toe drag, backhander score. What a sensational goal!
You guys see that?
Well, that's why I was watching before you hijacked everything to talk about who's the boss.
Yeah, some of us watched it last night. Johnny and I, big sports fans.
I said it this last week. Connor McDavid does everything everyone else does. He does it about 5 times faster than everyone else. And all you had to do was watch that goal last night to see exactly what I was talking about. He was like a sports car weaving in and out of pylon. It was impressive as hell.
Yeah, Connor McDavid. If you haven't seen the goal, we're not overselling it. It's insane. Like it's insane. I don't know how he did it, and then he roofs it.
Yeah.
After going, he went through like 3 guys in front of the net. It's kind of crazy.
Where there's no room. I don't know how he does that stuff.
And you know
what's incredible?
What's funny is that series, there was a scrum after some activity at the net, and the announcers were saying that's the first scrum after activity at the net in this series.
Oh, where do you see this weekend? Yeah, that's.
I really hope Edmonton beats that Florida. I really hope that skill comes over. That they don't just let Bennett run crazy and Kachuk run crazy and just start hitting people and stuff.
But that's the thing. I think the NHL secretly is hoping the same, because if they want to bring in the casual fan, you can't have Florida beat everyone up and win this thing.
Well, Florida-Dallas would have been an abject disaster. Now, the Rangers-Edmonton would have been the best. But I had a friend text me last week. He's like, "Are you watching the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I never thought I'd be rooting for Dallas before." And I go, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you rooting for Dallas?" And he actually changed his mind. I said, "How is this good for anyone? Why would you want Dallas, Florida? I'm not watching 1 minute of it. I don't have any interest in it. At least now there's a couple stars, big stars, you know."
I'm just going to triple down, though, on that highlight. If you haven't seen it, watching McDavid, who is a left shot coming in stick side, navigating through traffic, getting it over to the backhand, and then roofing it glove side. It's unthinkable that he would be able to do that.
He might be the only player on the planet that could have done what he did.
So you know how Pasternak's good and he's fun to watch? Yeah. McDavid's 100 times better than Pasternak.
McDavid and Draisaitl are both not just a little better than Pasternak, a lot better than Pasternak.
I think in the playoffs, McDavid has 30 assists. It might be even more, but I think it might be 30 assists. Like, he's insane.
He had a goal and an assist last night, so 28. 5 goals, 28 assists.
Okay, but now here's the thing about Edmonton last night.
And damn it.
This is going to remind you of what the Bruins were doing throughout much of the playoffs. Do you know how many shots on goal they had last night? 10.
Yep.
10 shots.
Who?
Edmonton had 10 shots.
Oh yeah. But one was that McDavid goal. The second goal.
Well, they had 2 goals on the first 6 shots.
Yeah. Florida or not Florida? Dallas had better chances. Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And I just hope that this will translate into more of the same against Florida.
Sure.
If they are stymied into not taking a lot of shots, the shots that they do get off will be high-quality ones. And
from what I gathered from this game, if you're Edmonton, they're not concerned about putting the puck on net a ton, because they know when they're looking for more real opportunities, because they can score in ways other teams can't.
If you're the NHL and you want to sell this game, you are thanking a higher power for putting Connor McDavid in the finals.
And especially and after that goal, that's got to be I haven't watched any of it, but that's got to be ESPN's play of the night and everything else.
Right.
And hopefully McDavid can. And McDavid's been great in the playoffs, as John just gave you his statistics. And just hoping that continues and that he can showcase that in front of a large audience.
By the way, the crowd in Edmonton last night, understandably.
15 seconds away from a trip to the final. Here's the finish. 2-1 Edmonton. Sagan tucks it down low. Bouchard smacks it around. Marking it from one-timer wide. Jason Robertson. 3 seconds. Haskin has it blocked. This game, this series is over.
I mean,
Good for Edmonton.
it's kind of cool to hear them that amped up. First finals trip. Wallach, you had it earlier. I think 06, right?
Yeah, 06.
So, yeah, they're ready.
Yeah,
They're ready.
Edmonton is like smaller than Worcester, I think. It's not a large town, and I can't imagine the economy there is based on anything that's still going strong. So good for Edmonton.
Freddie T, you want to give us a breakdown of that Red Sox-Tigers game yesterday that you were at?
Yeah, it was star-studded. There was
Take us right up until extra innings, and I'll play one highlight.
There was 5 Tigers fans located right next to us that were screaming and yelling at everyone in the Tigers on deck circle. And then they wanted balls because we were right by the bat boy, who gave my son a ball, gave all the other kids balls. And then this dumb ox in full tiger regalia, grown man, full tiger regalia, screaming, yelling. He's all drunk, and started trying to take balls from the kids that the bat boy was giving. And
What?
It's like, you're a grown man. What are you gonna do with the ball from the bat boy, stupid? What are you gonna do with
You
that
didn't
thing?
catch a home run.
Right, exactly. If you caught a home run, whatever. But
It's like a ball that was fouled off. What do you want?
Exactly. Yeah, it was a ball that was fouled off behind the plate. Or probably on the net that fell off that net.
What the
Big
hell's
deal.
wrong with you?
Well, I didn't say anything because I don't drink.
How
no
old
more.
is this guy? Just ballpark.
30, 29, 30,
And he's
31.
trying to steal balls that were fouled off from the kids.
Not fouled off in the stands, mind you. Fouled off on the field so the bat boy picks it up.
Right.
Yeah. Not take them from the kid's hands, but when the guy was putting them through the net.
Oh, all right.
If you put a treat through a net or the fence where a bunch of dogs are.
Yeah.
Or when you feed, at a petting zoo, you feed the animals. And everyone, and the little ones can't sometimes get the seed because they're a little afraid. This big stupid idiot was sitting there jamming his hand in. And let's put and he was from Detroit and had flown in with his friends, so it wasn't he was a special guy or anything. This was a real adult, probably a job and everything else, and he's sitting there like a moron. And the bat boy was to my son, I'll give you a ball, because he'd already given all the little kids balls, and he's like, I'll give you a ball. And so my son was like, great, I'll take a ball. And the big stupid idiot comes in and tries to take the ball, and so I'm like, what the hell are you doing? No, I finally said something to him. I'm like, get the hell out of here. He's like, oh. What the hell are you? Go away. Get away from me, you dumbass. Running down the stairs trying to get the ball. F you. I didn't care for it. But anyway, it was star-studded.
Red Sox left the bases loaded, in the ninth? Was that ninth or 10th?
They put the dumb runner on second.
Yeah, they start extra innings, right?
Yeah, and then the Tigers reliever in the ninth couldn't. He kept walking everyone, and then ultimately there was 2 outs, bases loaded in the ninth. And then it went to the 10th.
And then the Red Sox brought in.
Ground ball fair down the third baseline.
Poor
Past the
32-year-old that never
diving
played.
Devers couldn't get it. 1 run is in. Perez is in. Over to third goes Canna. Sharp double down the left field line. Tigers take a 5-4 lead in the 10th.
That vaunted Red Sox bullpen. They brought in an ex-Carpenter who was picked out of Independent League Baseball last year to sign to Worcester, and look at him pitch
Don't
now.
make fun of
Cam
him.
Boozer.
My
All
son
right.
even knew that. He was like, this guy was just some dude.
Yeah, he was a carpenter.
Swinging a hammer.
That's right. He's swinging a hammer after he retired from baseball, and then he decided to unretire and pitch for the Newark Bears.
I feel bad
for
for
him.
I actually was rooting for the guy. I wanted him to get out of it.
This is the Red Sox organization right here.
You didn't get out of it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So-
and on a Sunday afternoon when they're resting people, woof.
Yeah. No, we had a guy who had played 11 years of minor league baseball and called up for the first time, drawing a very important walk. That's what the Red Sox are selling.
Was that his first major league at bat?
I believe it was,
Yeah.
yes. 11 years of minor league baseball. He's Crash Davis. Fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah, in the Tigers, and had all these young stars and none of them were panning out. It was really, it really wasn't much.
Sox split the weekend set with the Tigers 2-2. They will stay home, continue their homestand against the Braves tomorrow night.
Yeah. So don't doubt me. I just complained about Tiger fans, so I'm of equal opportunity. All right. So when we come back, controversy. There was a bit of a cat fight in New York.
Oh, boy.
Oh, stop throwing me under the bus, Wallach. Every time you do that, it perks ears up, and then I end up getting in trouble, and I'm joking.
Oh, come on, Fred. You never get in trouble for stuff like this.
Ever. The Tebow thing and the hippie thing, you had a hand
The Tebow thing, yes. The hippie thing, no. I no hand in that.
You guys goaded me into playing it.
Okay, that's right. We really pushed you to the edge
then
there.
you sounded innocent. Then you sounded innocent in the whole matter. You pushed me.
Okay.
All right, very good. We'll be. I'm so ashamed of it. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Witness insurmountable deficits turn into unforgettable victories at the Travelers Championship, the Northeast's one and only PGA Tour signature event. It's nearby, too, Cromwell, Connecticut. Watch Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy.
Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And there is fellowship. I don't get any bonuses based on it, but I would like if you went to YouTube. If nothing else, is because Hardy, I don't believe, has anything golf related on today, and it's a bit of an issue.
This is a FootJoy hoodie I'm wearing right now, and I believe.
How much stuff did FootJoy give you in all
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is a hat from Bears Best in Las Vegas. It's a Travis Matthew hat. So yeah.
It's called what?
Bears Best. It is a recreation of Jack Nicklaus's.
A chub to circumnavigate. I had a conversation with someone who's very involved in the gay community, and they were speculating a chub was an act that you did to yourself before performing. But then I went back, and he's saying a chub in the gay community, it turns out, is just like an overweight guy. So this guy's saying he wants a cub or a chub to circumnavigate. So cubba-dubba-doo. Do you? Oh, you know what? The next time Nicholas tees off, we should go like people used to yell Baba Booey. We should go Cubba-dubba-doo because he's the golden bear.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
All right. Did you the WNBA? It's hotter than ever, and there was a national television game.
Yes.
And it was between whom, Hardy? Do you know? Do you even know off the top of your head?
I know Caitlin Clark's team is the Indiana Fever, and they were playing
the Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese's team.
Yes.
Chicago Sky.
Yeah, the Chicago's Angel Reese, by the way, from the Naperville area, I believe, which is by Chicago.
I played in an ultimate tournament in Naperville once. Really nice fields.
Ultimate Frisbee?
Oh, yeah. I was
Hardy's deep into this,
Yeah.
deep into the ultimate Frisbee community.
No, you're not.
Yeah, we used to travel.
Yep. I found this out accidentally about a decade ago. It's true.
We weren't varsity at Michigan State, unfortunately, while I was there, but we played as a club team and won states 2 years in a row and traveled to regionals just outside Chicago. They're in Naperville.
I have a text message from Hardy that I'm sure I can find it somewhere. He texted me once to tell me that the ultimate finals were on ESPN2 and I should tune in.
Yeah. It's great.
Is this something you still do?
No, but I'll throw the disc. I mean, I'll go out there and throw the disc right now. Like,
how unimpressed is everyone when you can throw a Frisbee well?
Not only are they not unimpressed, I've had people borderline standing around watching and applauding when I take out the 175-gram Ultimate Sport Disc on the beach. When I get someone out there throwing with me, like my buddy Steve, who spent a week with us on the Cape, he and his family, he and I played on the same team. It was called Myron. That was the name of the ultimate team we played on, and we got that disc going.
Is that like someone who worked?
Myron is the name of the sculptor who
that Hitler
sculpted,
commissioned.
Yeah, Hitler. Yeah, Nazis. The discus thrower.
Right.
That's how we got the name of the team.
He's a far right emblem.
What's a 175-gram disc? Is that the standard Frisbee that you throw on the beach, or is that smaller or bigger?
That is the preferred disc of Ultimate. It is made by Discraft. It is the 175-gram Ultimate Sport Disc.
What is more impressive to people when you get your friend Larry out there and throw the disc?
Steve.
Or when you juggle with your friend who's good at juggling?
Look, if you do something really well, never do it for free. Juggling is something you got to pay for that pleasure.
This is an honest question. I'm not being sarcastic. Have you ever juggled in front of a woman to impress her? Because I'm not sure.
No, I've done magic.
Oh, magic works.
Yeah. No, but not juggling. No.
Do you have bar tricks that you can do, like back in the day, that you could impress women with? That actually works.
When I was a bartender, oh, my God, it was amazing. Yeah.
What could you do?
Like the best one to do at a bar, because it was a long time ago, you could still smoke in bars, is you take a cigarette and you take I worked at Houlihan's. So it's kind of a nicer, chain restaurant, and you take like one of the linen napkins and you put the linen napkin on. Then you take a lit cigarette and you put the cigarette out right there in the linen napkin. And like, oh, my God, and it's smoking and all that stuff. And then boom, you make the cigarette and everything disappear. There's no hole in the napkin, anything like that. So I would put cigarettes out like that by putting them out inside a linen napkin and then making it disappear.
No, and then that was the end, or what'd you do with the cigarette?
I went back and smoked it, and no, that's. What do you mean? It disappeared.
I didn't know if
it's gone.
Well, like a super would tag it like a great magician, and it would end up like you would turn around and it would be
Fred. It wasn't a full blown act. If you gave me a 20-minute set, I probably would have had a prestige to go along with.
Is that what it's called? A prestige?
It's called the prestige.
Yeah, dumbass.
Yes.
No, I don't think he was calling me a dumbass. In fairness to Hardy, I think he was just saying that's called a prestige.
Yeah, I would just perform the turn. And then I would leave it at that because, I actually had to serve drinks, too.
Okay, one time I picked up a girl because I learned the thing where you take the ash and you put it on your finger, and then you put, and then you do the thing, and then you turn her hand over, and there's ash on the other side.
Sure.
Because you've grabbed her hand.
Yeah, that's right.
So this works. It's this trick with ashes. You can't do it anymore because no one smokes cigarettes. They just vape and take fentanyl. So you would hold one thing. It got you to like hold the woman's hand, which is a sign of intimacy. Mm-hmm. So you got to hold her hand without being a creep, and then you would put a little bit of ash on her palm. What's the trick? You put the ash in her palm, and it turns around. It's on the other side too, I think.
Well, that's like an Ash Wednesday thing. We'd have to ask Dan O'Brien about the church. I think
Dan,
when you put the ash on the forehead, is that a magic trick?
That's not a magic trick. No,
you
do that on
women.
No, it starts the beginning of Lent. It
Okay.
signifies the beginning of Lent. Ash Wednesday.
And you sang in front of whom at one point?
The Pope.
Which Pope?
John Paul II.
John Paul. The one who was assassinated or murdered.
Who was murdered?
John Paul I.
When?
Quietly.
Watch The Godfather 3. They explain it all.
Oh.
Because he was only a pope for like 6 weeks.
Is that why there was the Pope Mobile and all that stuff? Okay.
No, someone tried to assassinate him. No, I'm just talking about the Pope.
Why?
John Paul I, who was only in office for like 6 weeks, and then he mysteriously.
What's the incentive to assassinate the Pope? Honestly,
no idea.
Yeah, I don't. Why is that so?
Well,
divisive?
if you believe Francis Ford Coppola, it has to do with the deal with the Mobiliari and how the Corleone family was gaining control.
Okay. All right, so the Chicago Sky, here they are. They're playing. It's Angel Reese's team, who's had some beef with Caitlin Clark, and wouldn't you know it? There's an inbound play.
Carter, her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
You hear the crowd react to what just happened.
Yeah.
And then the lay from Boston as the officials are going to take a look at what just transpired between Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter, I think that's going to be a flagrant one, and Clark goes to the line and hits the first.
All right.
Yeah, so they didn't kick her out of the game. So the deal is Kennedy Carter on an inbound play, she yells, quoting her, "Hey, bitch," and then goes up to, that was a quote from Kennedy Carter, goes up and nails Caitlin Clark. I mean, nails her, knocks her down. And now all weekend on National Sports Talk Radio, people were pearl clutching and saying, oh, they got to protect her. She's the face of the league. Why don't they protect her? Why don't they protect her? And I was thinking, and it's funny, Mike Lockhart was thinking this as well. We talked before the show. Why did no one from Caitlin Clark's team just go and forearm shiver Angel Reese, their star, while she was coming through the lane and knock her ass down and go, this is what's going to happen? And then coming in today, I heard an ex-WNBA player, I'm sorry I forget her name, saying the exact same thing. And her point was, for all of you going, protect Caitlin Clark, protect Caitlin Clark, not only is that dumb, it's disrespectful to the game because you're treating the WNBA different than you would treat any other sport. Like another good example that I said, say you were playing the Phillies, like the Cardinals played the Phillies last night, and they threw at Bryce Harper, and they kept throwing at him. They kept throwing at his head. Well, someone from Philadelphia is going to going to get hit. Like they're going to like someone or someone from the Cardinals is going to get hit. Yeah. They're going to
Arenado's going to get thrown at something like that.
Yeah, like Goldschmidt or Arenado are going to take one to the chest, and that's what's going to end up happening. Like so, even baseball, and then there might be a tiny like situation on the field where they all touch each other and then they walk away. But nonetheless, like an effort will be shown. Like in any other sport, there's going to be a retribution, like a payback. And the woman from the WNBA, the ex-player's point was, why is the WNBA any different than anyone else? These are grown women. This is not an amateur competition. This is professional athletes. And if someone's going to be physical with someone and it's a foul, big deal, like, okay, here we go. And they want to make a point of Caitlin Clark. It's up to her teammates to make it so there's a price to pay if you do that. You can't get away with it. And Caitlin Clark's teammates did not do anything. They just stood around.
This is not the first time either. I've seen her wiped out with picks on the perimeter. Like she's taken some hard shots.
She has, but she also flops. She flops a lot.
That goes with being a star in college basketball.
Well, she's been fouled more than anyone else apparently in the WNBA.
But I mean, everyone on other teams is sending a message.
Yes.
And more to your point, it will continue to happen unless there's retribution the other way.
Yeah, like so if they knock her down, why are you not knocking someone on their team down? There's got to be someone on the Indiana team, Caitlin Clark's team, that's like 6'9".
Yeah, she's being treated like a star, which she is. And so if you're a member of the Indiana Fever, it's your job to set a hard foul on the other team's star.
What does the coach of the Fever have to say?
Yeah, I'm just really proud of her for not reacting. That was a moment,
Betty
she's
Davis eyes.
And she kept her cool.
Kim Carnes.
Yeah, right.
So, that's exactly what she needed to do in that moment in this game. It was a tight game. Like, we didn't need to, but she handled it amazing.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the team?
Yeah, the rest of the team didn't handle it well.
I bet Ms. Kennedy, though, took full responsibility for it after the game.
It seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After the
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough. We're good. She's good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
They want to be treated like other sports, and the WNBA says they don't get enough respect, they don't get enough attention. You got to stop doing stuff like this. You got to come to your teammates' defense, or else people are going to kill people are going to kill the other members of the Fever, and you can't have people swooping in to save you in press conferences.
Right, because I actually think Kennedy Carter sounded kind of cool there. She's just like, I'm not taking any questions about Caitlin Clark, because she obviously wanted to knock her down. She called her a bitch. She called her a bitch. I'm just repeating what she said. I know when we talk about women's sports, you got to be very careful. And so I like the way Kennedy Carter was handling it. I don't like that the press person has to step in and start like, that's enough. All right. The woman's handling it. Why are you the tough person? To whoever said that, let Kennedy Carter be the tough person. Again, do this. So anyway. I loved hearing the ex-WNBA player say, look, it's up to her teammates to protect her. It's not up to the league.
Right. Yep.
Because it was all a series of dudes this weekend going, that was out of line, and that was out of line, and that was a cheap shot. Yeah, it was a cheap shot. But she did it for a reason. She did it because there was obviously, and then her teammates loved it. So someone from Indiana, not then, they don't have to go hit her in the face. But I'm sure there's someone in Indiana that's a large person that, Angel Reese, their star, she comes through the lane and you knock her down.
So I don't know if it affected Caitlin Clark. They ended up winning the game by a point. But after that, in the game against the Liberty, which was the next day, did they have back-to-backs, Wallach?
They do have back-to-backs. I don't know if that was a back-to-back or not, but they played 11 their first 11 games in like 20 days.
So the game after that, the Fever lost to New York Liberty 104-68. Caitlin Clark had one bucket, 3 points. Worst game of not just her pro career, but I guess her lowest point total and field goal rate in pro college anywhere.
Jamie, go ahead.
Worst game ever.
Yeah, so here's what they got to do to help prevent this. The draft is in April, right after the NCAA championship. They get drafted, they train for like 2 weeks, and then the regular season starts. They should start the reg season for WNBA like now. Like Cardozo just had a knee dinged up too. Like Give them some chance to hit the weight room, get to know their teammates and all that.
That's not a bad
otherwise
point.
You're going to have people getting hurt.
Hey, when does the season end now? Like, as it currently is constructed, like, when will there be a championship? Like, do you know when that is?
Like August, I think.
Yeah, so why don't you just move it to, like, right before football starts? And then that could be you're right. Why don't they delay it at least a couple weeks or shorten the season? Believe me, you can shorten the season. These teams fold like there's no tomorrow. But anyway, good for that Kennedy lady. Knock the star down until someone tells you, until you stopped, until there's some retribution. If I'm every team, I'm knocking her around. It throws her off her game, obviously.
Regular season runs May 14th to September 19th.
Oof.
And the playoffs start in the middle of September.
Boy.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't push it much further.
Oh, you can push it as far as you want at that point. Football's going.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
If you're ending after football starts, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, just do whatever you want. Like, at that point, start it. Like, get into the NBA season. Who cares?
Although there is a month-long break for the Summer Olympics this year, so maybe it's not always that late.
Well, our ignorance is showing, but good on the.
Oh no!
Yes, thank you, Tyler Milliken's cousin. All right, when we come back, Joe Murray was on this weekend, and when he's on the weekend, he's pure Joe Murray. Now, he was on with McCarthy, so there was some PO'd, and you could tell that McCarthy was getting annoyed because Joe was getting all the attention. Someone actually called in and said, "This is the Joe show," and he's like, "No, it's Joe and McCarthy." And McCarthy was like, "No, it's the Joe show, apparently."
Oh, boy.
Apparently.
Not good.
McCarthy, way younger than I thought. I thought McCarthy was a man in his 50s.
Oh, no.
He's a man in his 30s. He said he was born in the late 90s. I was saying, oh, Haji Machi.
Boy.
Or maybe the 90s. He said he was born in the 90s.
Yeah, he's 30. Right around there.
Yeah.
You don't think he looks like he's in his 30s?
Yeah. I think he looks like he's in his 30s.
John, I don't think you look like you're in your 60s.
Yeah, it's all that Grecian formula in the hair. That's what that is.
Grecian formula. Because that would make you look young. That would make you look young. It's all the pomade, I guess. Yeah. It's like what the kids are doing.
Looks distinguished.
Yep. All right, so we'll be right back.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Party, we will not be here next Monday as we are off to the big golf tournament. I am going to be broadcasting. Guys. Don't get too excited. Or jealous, I should say, because you're probably not going to get excited. You're going to be like, this guy's going to be rubbing elbows with some of the greats. My agent, Heather Cohen, has got me jet setting into LaGuardia Airport on Thursday, taking an Uber to a chain hotel, the Marriott, Editor Radio Inc. Big show. Next day, wake up, do the show from the Hofstra University. Then I'm out for a fireside chat at the Talkers Convention. Now you say, who is in the panel after you at the Talkers Convention? Well, a guy in like AM 220 from
AM 220
from Albany.
You got to get it on the shortwave.
Oh, there's some shortwave aficionados there as well.
Are you on the ham radio panel?
Very good.
Perhaps. And it wouldn't be. So you know who's the big keynote speaker?
Glenn Beck.
Correct.
Yes.
The great Glenn Beck, who everyone loves.
You two have a lot to talk about.
Oh, I can't wait to meet the guy. I don't know. I never meet your heroes.
Are you nervous?
They say never meet your heroes. So I'm not dreading this at all.
I'm sure there's a statue of Wayne Corbett you can find and like genuflect in front of.
What I would like to do is not go.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So Joe Murray, everyone loves Joe Murray. Joe Murray was a big part of the morning show for a very long time. He still fills in from time to time. And when Joe's at his purest, now he's on at night and he gets great ratings. Joe gets tremendous ratings. But Joe's very sports heavy at night. When Joe does the weekends, he can put his feet up and just chill.
We got our beefs, bro.
Yeah, people call in. They talk about the most ridiculous things. It's really like a community radio station.
Yeah,
it's like his friends calling up. And this is what Joe Murray. Thank you to the listener. I'll give your name at the end of this that emailed this to me. He said 10:45, play it Monday. I said bless you. I will. Toucher at 985thesportshub.com is how to get in touch with me. And here we go.
I don't eat lettuce or salad. I eat. At one time, I tried a salad. I love the croutons. I love the dressing.
Croutons are great.
Okay. But once that lettuce and the chomping noises and the water and the grossness.
All right. So it's the chomping noises, which I'm sure he never does when he's eating, I don't know, a tomahawk steak.
We got our beefs, bro.
I'm sure he never, ever, ever makes chomping noises. And water, which, what human being drinks liquid? He's describing lettuce. And lettuce on like a hand, like lettuce, just like he's describing iceberg lettuce that has literally almost no taste.
It went into my belly and it said, nope, out.
Does go through you fast sometimes. It can do that.
No,
it can give you diarrhea, I'll be honest with you. Oh, Lord. You know what else gives me diarrhea watching this mess going on at Funway? They're playing like diarrhea.
But I understand the lettuce immediately upsetting your stomach as opposed to...
I called it the McMurray burger.
The McMurray burger.
That's solid. That stays down.
Now, what did not accept is, like you said, he worked at McDonald's. He invented the McMurray burger. It did not upset his stomach. Hardy, what was on it?
Oh, I think it was the
there
burger.
Was no bread.
It was the burger, chicken.
It was 2 fried McChickens with like a Whopper in between. That's what a McMurray was. But without the lettuce and tomato and everything else.
Yeah.
A Big Mac, whatever, yeah.
Went out, not the way I wanted it to go out. It went out right through the old esophagus. We can't handle this. And I've tried it. I've tried. Let me tell you.
I like how you said there was this one time where I tried salad.
Listen, you mean to tell, when I go to, I'm trying to think of a great salad bar.
You know he doesn't like salads when he can't, off the top of his head, come up with 15 places that have anything. Like, you could go like the best Gaba Ganoush, be like, oh, there's a place in Somerville.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
I see this thing. It's loaded. It's got the bacon bits, the croutons, whatever you can put on it.
Sure.
All the chicken, salmon, whatever. I can't eat it. But they give you that weird wedge salad that comes on a brown plate. Know what I'm talking about there? The lettuce doesn't seem fresh.
Yeah, you guys know that salad that comes out on the brown plate?
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
That's the only way they serve a wedge salad is on a brown plate.
Maybe that's
how you know it's a wedge salad.
Maybe that's how you know the kitchen effed with it. They're like, when you find the wedge salad like that's on that for the person to take to the table that's on the brown plate, that means that's the one with fecal matter on it. Maybe that's why he threw up. And by the way, what's more nutritious than a wedge salad? Can you just give me a nice like a quarter of an iceberg lettuce stalk, and then or whatever they're called, and then just dump 5 million calories of blue cheese on
blue
top.
cheese and bacon on it. Thank you.
It just seems like that same wedge salad comes like a few pieces of onion and beets.
Yeah.
And then here's your dressing on the side.
He's very unfamiliar with salads.
But the McMurray burger.
I one time had 2 chicken patties and put a beef patty in between it and just ate it like that. I called it the McMurray burger. And I look at that and I go, you're going to eat that? I'm like, it doesn't look fresh. But it's like a common thing. It's that wedge lettuce looking thing.
Well, it's a wedge of lettuce.
It's good. Yeah, you know.
And when has iceberg lettuce looked fresh? It gets brown immediately. It's brown when it's growing.
But I don't eat lettuce or salad.
Do you consider a wedge of lettuce a salad? There's literally no nutritional value in it.
Yeah, and they put blue cheese dressing all over it.
Yeah,
and
but
that's,
even
hey, ta-da, there
even
it is.
if you just ate,
yes, it is by definition a wedge salad.
yeah. But even if you just ate iceberg lettuce plain, like you're not going to get fat, but it's not going to give you anything that you need.
No.
It has nothing in it of value.
No.
And then shredded lettuce is a whole nother thing.
I will say, happiest I've ever seen you, Joe, was at Lifschatz's wedding, where they did not serve salad as the first course, and they gave us ziti.
Ziti.
You remember just...
I've never seen Joe so happy, Jeff. I swear to God.
I was complimenting the Lifschatz's wedding. Screw the salad. Give me the pasta. All right, let's go back to the calls here. I'm sorry to go off track, everybody. It's NBA Finals week. Josh is in Nashville. Hey, Josh.
Here we go, Big Joe. First-time caller, long-time fat boy.
Joe did not like that.
No.
Joe does not like those accusations. By the way, if Joe throws up when lettuce hits his stomach, how long can he live? How long? Al Michaels will not eat vegetables, and Al Michaels is an elderly man. But is this a sign of an early grave for someone who lettuce? Not only do they not eat it,
No, I don't think
but
so.
if they consume it,
There's plenty of people out there. Troop never ate a vegetable. All the years I worked with him, that was one of his claims to fame. Never.
But by his pictures, he was not afraid to eat a lot of stuff.
But no, he wasn't like like severely out of shape or anything. He never ate vegetables ever.
Not even cooked, not even on a sandwich,
Nope.
never.
Interesting.
I think he would eat potatoes like fries, but that was it. Would never eat vegetables.
How did that come up?
We talked about a lot of stuff.
Did you ever talk about what he followed on the Twitter?
Nope.
Oh, you left that one alone.
Nope.
Okay.
He loved
Nope.
nudes.
Nope.
Interesting.
You don't know how to make a beef. I know how to eat a beef.
What?
But that was when he had his heroin habit. And he needed to make a little money.
Here we go, Big Joe. First-time caller, long-time fat boy. I got to disagree with you on the salad take, but I got something I can relate to. It's cukes. We're going to talk about cucumbers here. And they're useless. No use for them.
Tell that to my mom.
See, my grandfather was a real. How dare you? Your mother is a saint, and I will not have you making jokes like that.
So her using cucumbers makes her not?
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
They're very phallic.
My grandfather was a real hillbilly, you understand?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You've told tales of him.
Would not eat cucumbers because, and I quote, I won't eat nothing a hog won't eat. And apparently hogs won't eat cucumbers.
Why? That's weird.
I don't know. He would eat every part of the cow.
I was just going to say.
Every part of the pig.
Hogs eat really gross stuff. What's wrong with cucumbers?
He would eat pears, completely whole. He would eat the core, everything, gone. Like nothing left over from a piece of fruit, would not eat cucumbers.
Interesting.
And now, did he experiment with the hog to see if it would eat it? Like, was it like his taste tester if you were a king back in the day? Would he like go out like, excuse me, y'all, before we dine this evening, I'm going to have to take this out to the pig. Now, or was that just a turn of phrase?
I don't know. I don't think they kept animals because they lived in a cabin, no running water, no electricity, like
in Michigan,
hillbilly. No, in Virginia. My dad was born in a cabin with no running water, no electricity. Doctor came on horseback, Comer's Rock, Virginia.
Interesting.
That was
when
my
was he
father
born?
was born, 1936.
And when did they finally get electricity and running water?
They moved up to Michigan not long after that. Once my dad was born, he was the oldest. They moved up to Michigan, moved to Detroit.
Oh, so your dad didn't have to go through the
No.
water.
He didn't like grow up in that cabin, but that's where he was born.
Did your grandfather tell you, like, did he have opinions on what was going on in the world?
No, he didn't speak a whole lot.
Yeah. Fighter? Big fighter?
No.
Really?
No, and he was just wiry hillbilly strength.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like guys that worked on oil rigs. Like they don't look big, but they're like ropey muscles.
Oh yeah, that was my whole dad's side. of the family. That describes them all perfect.
Old school laborer, like wiry as hell. Like they because they're big drinkers usually, but they also like climb the towers and they get that super like wiry muscle. I know what you're saying. They're not like buff, but they could tear phone books because they have their hands.
Think Tommy Lee Jones and Coal Miner's Daughter. That type of build. Sinewy.
Oh, the Loretta Lynn.
Man, yep.
Oh, the story of Loretta Lynn. I love her.
Okay, easy.
We're going to talk about cucumbers here, and they're useless. No use for them.
Out on cucumbers. I like pickles.
I'm fine with the cucumber.
I'm fine with the cucumber. You know who's in a pickle?
Who's that, Matt McCarthy?
The dang Red Sox. Because they're going to lose all their fans if they keep up this nonsense. I like pickles.
I'm fine with the cucumber. I need to be...
Joe doesn't like that. He's like, just shut up. Shut up, McCarthy.
I love ginger ale.
I'm fine with the cucumber. I need to be in the mood for a pickle, Joe. Yeah.
All right.
I've had
you can't talk like that and say that. David, go ahead.
Pigs do love cucumbers, guys.
Well, listen, you talk to Hardy.
Not according to Reed Bailey Poole.
Yeah. Don't tell your dad. I don't want to ruin his little myth there. But
you're not going to ruin anything for him
it.
or my grandfather, but go ahead.
No, if you got on your knees, you could. David, go ahead.
They love cucumbers with the skin on, skin off. They love it with Italian sauce, whatever, grilled, cooked, raw, whatever.
And David, you know this because what do you do for a living? Or what do you do?
Farm. We have a farm. I have about 200 pigs here in Pepperell, Mass. Yeah. And we feed them waste from, supermarkets and stuff like that in our gardens here. And they'll eat anything. They won't eat oranges. They don't eat lemons. They don't eat potatoes, and they don't eat whole onions generally. Those are the rules.
How many
the uncooked whole onions? They won't eat those sometimes.
Dave, how many pigs do you have on your farm?
About 200.
You're like Wallach's hard drive. Thank you, David. Wow. Make a video of that.
Wow.
And never cut away from Wallach's face. I just want to see his reaction when that line gets dropped.
He wants to be smothered by a big lady. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We'll actually mention the Celtics.
Sports Hub headlines.
Of all the directions that could have taken, I was not ready for that. NBA Finals come up Thursday night at TD Garden. Celtics will play Dallas. Kristaps Porzingis did everything the team did at practice Saturday, although it was not at full speed. An online report yesterday indicated that Celtics are thinking about moving Jeff Van Gundy from an advisory position into an assistant coach's role next season. At the Stanley Cup Finals, Stanley Cup playoffs rather, the finals are set.
between games, fellas?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have wanted it to start like last night or even tomorrow night. I need more time.
All right, so we have a lot of time. So a lot of people, now I'm hearing a ton of people pick Dallas in this series, and I got to imagine it's because of all the time that you just start overthinking things and start making bad decisions. Like, it's never, this is for young people out there. Sometimes when in life, it's better to not overthink things. There is such a thing as working too hard. I am telling you that, like, especially in a creative profession. You sometimes you can't force ideas. And so this is, let's start with Jason Williams. Lockhart found these. This is an example of an old take, and then we will play one involving the upcoming series. Here's Jason Williams, probably around the beginning of the season.
Giannis and Dame are more compatible and have less redundancy than the 7-year career of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Oh, my goodness.
More compatible and less redundancy than the 7-year career of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They play off each other extremely well. The pieces work. Actually, you know what? You don't have to build a wall against Giannis anymore because he's not bringing the ball up the court. Now it's Dame. Now you have Giannis who's going to get another 7 or 8 points on the wing who can just put his head down and attack. It opens up the offense way more. And by the way...
All right, so that had to be before they went through and fired their coach. And, you know, I understand Giannis was hurt and Lillard was hurt during some of the playoffs. You can't count the playoffs. But, I mean, Jason Williams made a prediction that turned out being wrong. The Celtics had a historically good team, and Milwaukee was just not going to have that season. Milwaukee could have possibly beat them in the playoffs, but there's no doubt, you know, that's a huge stretch. So, fast forward to recently. This is a man by name Rick Bucher. Have you ever met the man since you're on the road?
I have met Rick Bucher.
Real prick, or
I've met him once. I don't know. He works for ESPN.
I'm going to say nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's what Rick Bucher had to say. So remember what Jason Williams had to say earlier this year about combinations. Now here's Rick Bucher with all this time in between playoff games.
What duo would you rather have in the NBA Finals?
Luka and Kyrie. And
that easy.
Well, look, I know that with Tatum and with Brown, the first thing you look to if you're going to make the argument going the other way is the fact that they are more recognized as two-way players, as being not just offensive threats, but defensive. But Luka and Kyrie have closed the gap when it comes to that. Kyrie in particular.
Yes, he has.
The work that he did, that he's done in these playoffs and that he did in this last series, he's checking Anthony Edwards and he's giving him everything that he can handle. Now, obviously, he's getting help. You're always going to need help. So that gap is not as big as it once was. And then I look at the other side of things, and in 1.5 seasons, Kyrie and Luka have meshed better than Jaylen and Jason have after 6 seasons in terms of how their abilities complement each other. And that's not where it started. That's required a lot of work by these two to figure that out and how to utilize their skills and utilize and take advantage of the pieces that they have around them.
All right, John, is there any validity to that?
I can see some of those points, but no, I don't think that's necessarily true at all.
And I'm not even a fan of the Celtics, but I will tell you this. I don't understand any of this. The Celtics are the better team. The Celtics had a phenomenal season.
Second time in the finals in 3 years with Tatum and Brown as your leader. I mean, you can go on and on and on.
Yeah, there's no debating that Brown and Tatum are the two best players on this team. And regardless of who's surrounding them, like Jrue Holiday is a good player, a playoff performer.
A champion.
He's a champion, right? Like a playoff performer champion. If you feel like you need to pile on, go ahead there. Yeah. I already acknowledged you as the basketball expert in the room.
Yes.
So if you really want to take it even further, I'm aware of Jrue Holiday having a title. Even this simpleton. And, you know, White is a good player, but, I mean, he's not a franchise-type player. These are the two franchise players on the team. Now, Kyrie Irving and Luka are both better than Jaylen Brown, I'd say. But Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I mean, they won, what, they lose 12 games this year or something? 14 games?
18. 18 during the regular season, 2 in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've lost 18 games this year. So what do you want out of them? How do you know? Like, Luka, and the way people are saying that Dallas is going to win this series is really just coming down to this. There's really not much analysis. It's just Luka's the best player on the court. And
if he goes nuts, then things tip in Dallas's favor because he is a better player than Jason Tatum at this point.
Just better offensive, yeah.
Better offensive player. Sorry, that's what I meant.
The sample sizes for both these examples, going back to the Lillard and Giannis thing, where Jason Williams is like, they're already better. They have already got more chemistry, and they're already working better in tandem. I'm like, based on what? Based on a handful of games where you have to give opponents some time to figure out, oh, this is what they're doing, and now you can do things to thwart that. And I would say the same thing about Kyrie and Luka. Yes, they're playing very well. I think the major component in this, though, is Kyrie has kind of bought into this so far, and he's been playing very well. But in terms of, yeah, I can see it. I can see there being some validity to you watch Tatum and Brown together on the court, and it's not some magical dance that these two are doing, and the other three are just standing around watching. Right. It's not that. But they are both very good individually. Could they play the two-man game better at times? I guess, but you've also got Drew Holiday and Derek White and Al Horford. And I think there's more sharing of the ball that goes on with the Celtics than go on with these other two teams.
Well, they're just simply not losing games. I can tell you what Jason Williams did is that it's an easy opinion, is that Lillard is a point guard, Giannis is a big man, and so they're two completely different positions. And his point about Giannis not having to bring the ball up the court is simply, I guess you could go, well, that's good. It wasn't. It was better Giannis brought the ball up the court. And, at least it seems that way. And so the take is easy. I could tell you, well, they got a great point guard, and Giannis is big, so thereby that's a compliment to him. I could do that. That's easy. Now, it didn't work out that way. And then remember the Kyrie Irving thing is that, like, Luka's ball dominant. Kyrie is one of the best ball handlers of all time. How is this going to work? How is this going to work? Because that didn't make sense on paper. Now it turns out that it's working, but it didn't make sense on paper. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they simply just haven't lost. And Jason Tatum's All-NBA first team. So I don't know what you want out of the guys. And I don't care. Wow. And I don't want to sit here. I don't like all this time off.
Oh, you care.
No, what I'm saying is I hate when local radio people defend the home team, like when they put the wall up. That's what I'm kind of trying to say. Like I have no skin in the game. Now I want the Celtics to win the championship because it's always fun for us when the team wins the championship. And Luka Doncic and me have a long beef.
Oh,
yeah,
I was unaware of that.
It goes back. It goes back.
Yeah, It goes back. We're both Masons, Freemasons, and I didn't like the way he hazed me in getting into it.
It's a Knights Templar thing. He didn't want to get into it. You're not supposed to even be talking about it this much.
Yeah, but you know what? I've never followed the rules. All right, when we come back, this is all news pertaining to what?
Nudity. Naked news.
So turn us off. It's just going to be filthy. All right, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
The NBA playoffs have tipped off, but it's not too late to get in on the action. Hey, everybody. We are the Toucher and Hardy Show, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us every morning on YouTube. Get that algorithm kicking. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub to keep up to date with everything that's going on. There is a police detail here on the account of hippies threatening me in the station. And Hardy, have you gone? How many times have you gone out to talk to the man?
I've done, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I said hello this morning. And
I said hello as well because
Yeah.
they're here on the account of me.
We were just talking about other stuff here a couple of times, sure.
What'd you talk about?
Tactics.
Yeah, I could see that this is exciting you. Is this exciting you that he's out there?
No.
I
actually feel bad that he has to be here.
Well, he's being compensated.
I know, but, it's not.
I mean, he could have said no. It's not like something they're forcing him to do.
Yeah.
I think it's not a bad way to make a couple bucks.
That's probably fine.
I'll tell you this, though, is that you ever see the Seinfeld where the guy's standing up and George wants to get him a chair? You know that one? You know the one where there's a security guard. This isn't a security guard, it's a police officer. But the security guard, they want a chair.
Susan's father owns the store,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
John, you don't even know this?
I'm trying to. Why am I blanking on this? No, I don't remember this one.
Well, I'll tell you why. You're old.
Okay.
If everyone's going to call me old, I'm doing it to you.
Got it.
And he's walking. I wish he would sit. I feel bad. Like, sit. You know what I'm saying? But these hippies, this is what the world's come to. With all their peace and love.
Yeah.
Here we are. All right, Hardy, it's time for what?
For breaking news. I can't use it. Newsflash.
Special edition of the news today, Fred. It's the naked news. We have 2 news stories involving nudity. First, we will go to a place where I spent about 2.5 years, and that would be Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Isn't it fun that 2 people that were on back-to-back on WBCN, middays afternoon, both spent time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, of all places?
Same shift, same radio station.
Interesting.
Yeah. What are the
What market is Albuquerque?
When I was there, I think it was 72.
Could you tell it was 72, or were people into the radio?
No, they were into the radio because it's very isolated.
Yeah.
I mean, in New Mexico, you have Albuquerque, kind of in the middle of the state. About an hour north, you have Santa Fe, and the stations serve both. We were KTEG, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and that was it. I mean, you have to drive 4 hours south before you get to another city, or 2 hours west before you get to Grants or Gallup. I mean, there is nothing. It is a desolate state. So the radio was kind of a big deal, sure.
Yeah, I could see that, actually. That's why I asked. And then
I loved it. I loved living there. I loved it.
Why?
It was so different. Imagine you growing up in Michigan, right?
Right.
And then driving as I did to take this job. I didn't visit. I just got a job offer there. I'm like, okay, I'm moving from market 115 in Lansing to market 72, and I was going to make enough money to have my own apartment. I'm like, oh, I'm gone.
Right.
I'll be there tomorrow. And I drove down there and arrived in the middle of the night, woke up the next morning. And my apartment was at the base of this mountain range, the Sandia mountain range, with an 11,000-foot peak, like towering over you. And then you look out over the city, you could see it from where I was. I'm like, this is amazing. It was like being on a different planet.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so different. And then, yeah, you could do cool stuff. I was working it was a weird shift. I think I went on at like 11 a.m. So there were days where I would go snowboarding in the morning, because you can take the tram up one side of the mountain, snowboard down, and have, a foot of fresh powder on the other side of Sandia Peak, go do my shift, and then when I got off the air, I could go play golf in the afternoon. You could literally do both in the same day.
Obviously, a young man, and obviously not a job taking a lot out of you.
It did not take a lot out of me, and Albuquerque also ended up being a place that probably sent me down a wrong path, because very easy access to unstepped on substances coming straight up from Juarez.
So you would get pharmaceutical grade cocaine.
It was high quality and it was cheap.
What a productive cocaine, though. Use of cocaine is that you would snowboard, do the shift.
Oh, no.
Then go play golf all the way doing a little booger sugar.
No,
do a little nose beers.
No, I would not mix those activities together. But after a while, I had a good time. I'm still friends with people from there. And it is a place I'll go back to soon just to go hang out.
So when you get to Vegas, is the cocaine no longer pharmaceutical grade?
Correct.
And is that a huge disappointment to you?
Yes.
So had you done cocaine before you went to New Mexico?
Yes.
Okay, you had in Lansing?
Yes.
So Lansing cocaine has got to be way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like the very first time, and that's when I was...
You didn't know anybody.
That's when I was 10 in bar, and Tony was one of the other bartenders, and he was into the life a little bit. And it didn't happen a lot. Like a couple of times, though, we'd be like, 4 deep at the rail on a Friday night, and it's like, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and you've got 3 more hours till last call, and you would, need something to get you over the top, and he would give me the signal. He would.
What would the signal be exactly?
He'd look down and he would say, "Robbo," and he would do a chopping motion with one hand and the other, and that meant go in the back in the keg room and chop up a couple. Robbo, and that was the signal. Like, oh, he had either gone back there and left me something,
or it was your turn,
or it was my turn to go back there and leave him something.
Okay, so when you were actively using cocaine, Hardy's clean now. Hardy has been sober for a very long time, but like when you were actively using cocaine, because I've never bought cocaine or used cocaine. I've never done cocaine.
And I didn't do it a lot. I couldn't afford to, like at any point in my life, do it a lot. But I don't know, once a month maybe.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you were. Oh, I thought you did more than that.
Oh, no, God.
So
I couldn't afford it, man.
So your problem was alcohol or cocaine? Which one was the problem?
I don't want to have a meeting necessarily on the air, but one started to beget the other.
Okay.
So
nonetheless, but when you go, I wasn't trying to start a meeting on the air. Because this is the question, when you go to a bar, when you went to a bar back then and you would start drinking, then you wanted cocaine.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. So you would go and could you ask a bartender? Was there a way to ask a bartender for cocaine?
Once you got to Vegas, absolutely. That was easy. That was, a lot of bartenders had that was what they also did.
But you couldn't just go, hey, do you have cocaine? Or could you?
You just have conversations about what you're doing and what you did last night and and it's like, oh, well, I can probably help you out with that or something. Yeah. You have to be a people person, Fred.
Yeah, that's probably
why you could never do it, because you have to be able to engage people and, have conversations about things.
Yeah, because I read these books about Mark Lanigan, who was in Screaming Trees, was a big heroin guy, so much so that he was dying in this hospital in Ireland, and they were telling him, look, we need to put an IV in you, but all your veins have collapsed. And he was aware of one place where there was a vein, and it was in between 2 of his toes, and he wouldn't tell him because if he was gonna die, he wanted to be able to shoot up. He wanted to kill himself he wanted to buy heroin and shoot up and kill himself that way. So this dude, and he had been clean a really long time, but he was saying that these guys talk about how they could walk down a street on tour in a city they've never been to, and walk down the street, and it's almost like the Matrix, where they can, I imagine that's the plot of the Matrix, where they can see this other dimension of this guy's holding and this guy's holding.
You see the world in a series of code, just digits.
It's
binary,
Neo,
ones and zeros. Yeah, holding.
That's when you really get into
holding.
it. Neo sees all.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Is that a terrible comparison?
No, that's decent.
He could see. I would walk down the street and be unaware that anyone was holding or selling heroin, and he was completely able to like this guy was the guy to go to, and this guy was the guy to go to.
I never got to that point.
Okay.
The fun stopped long before I was able to acquire those skills.
Okay. But you did know how to talk to the bartender.
Sure.
All right.
Rolf.
Jay, go ahead.
All right, so I was going to say something else about New Mexico, but now that you've got onto that, I lived in Las Cruces, that's where I first tried cocaine, and it was the best stuff for the cheapest price. Then I moved up to Albuquerque, and it was okay, but it wasn't as good. And then when I moved back to Massachusetts, I was like, oh, I don't ever need to do this again.
Well, you can't do it anymore. And it's like we're joking about it, like telling stories, but it is so dangerous
bad
now.
up here. I was just like, this isn't worth anything.
Anywhere. Anywhere.
Oh, no. You can't do cocaine anymore.
You can't do street drugs.
All right, Hardy, Dad. Okay, Dad.
No, listen. Fred will tell you the exact same thing. It's far too dangerous.
Oh, no. Yeah, Jay, I'm not saying.
Oh, especially now. Yeah. Especially now.
No, I'm saying
know.
now. Yeah, now is what I'm saying because of fentanyl, and it's true.
Fentanyl and all this other crap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that they're cutting it fentanyl, and I don't even understand why. I don't know why.
I don't either. I used to do. I was doing some Molly, and I got some stuff from this kid, and then he OD'd because it was fentanyl. And I'm like, what are you doing putting fentanyl in there?
Yeah,
the
right.
drug is perfectly fine by itself.
Exactly, and I don't know what the advantage is. First of all, this is a serious thing. It's like you're killing. I don't know why drug dealers or never does it.
Baking soda or fucking.
Yeah, you can't swear. But the thing is, why don't you just put baby laxative and just make it suck? Like if you're just trying to kill off your client base, right? That doesn't make any sense to me. But it's happening all the time. It's one thing I talk to my kids about constantly. Is I'm like, you can't take street drugs. Like you can't accept anything. Like you can't take a pill. You can't do anything. Like you can't. Like it's just street drugs you can't do it. Too much fentanyl. Bad. All right. Well, there you go. That was a fentanyl story. Hardy was telling me interesting stories. So we'll get to the news later.
Okay.
Tim Cato, I believe, works for The Athletic. He covers the
Dallas Mavericks.
And this is exciting. We're going to get a perspective of the Dallas Mavericks. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, ladies. All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. Tim Cato is big time in us from The Athletic. But we can do the news, Hardy. We didn't get to it.
Oh, we can do it with the Tommy Pham stuff. Want to?
Yeah, let's do the Tommy Pham stuff. What do you got? What happened with Tommy Pham? Because I had not heard of this.
Okay, was anybody watching this game, Wallach? Were you?
I only saw the highlight. No one was. The White Sox are the worst team in Major League Baseball, which is where Tommy Pham is.
They've lost a tremendous amount of games in a row. And Tommy Pham, for being in the minors for a very, very long time, is a kind of overplays his hand on every team he's on.
Yeah, he was with the Red Sox for a while, too.
Oh, I'm aware of that.
Here.
He was with the Cardinals. He was in the Cardinals minor league organization. He came up. He played pretty well. And then he threw a fit about contract negotiations and this and that.
Yeah, he's finally landed in Chicago, and after yesterday, the White Sox are 15-45.
Yeah, and they've lost. The White Sox have lost 11 in a row.
Yep.
And so, Tommy, where was Tommy Pham good? Was that Tampa Bay?
Yes.
That he had like a little situation happening.
Well, he played pretty well for the Cardinals too, right? But either way,
he played well for the Cardinals, but not well enough to justify his behavior.
He's far past it.
He was on a Tampa Bay team that I think did well in the playoffs. Like for the Cardinals, he was fine. He wasn't. I didn't think Tommy Pham was like the next, Stan Musial.
Right.
All right. So, Hardy, I'm unaware of anything that happened because he's on the White Sox, and obviously I did not watch that game. I was at the Red Sox game yesterday, the 10-inning affair. I stayed for the entire thing.
That was the thing that impressed me, the fact that you stayed for the whole thing, because after they left the bases loaded, I think I would have said, okay, I think I've got enough of this.
Where am I going to go, though?
Home.
Yeah, but
beat the crowd.
What's the difference? I mean, at that point, what's the difference? I'm just getting in a cab.
Yeah.
The cab drivers know me now because I'm one of the few people that takes a cab out of there. And they know I'll pay cash. And they're like, how much did you pay last time? And I think that they take less money than I offered. For cash only, he's not running the meter, but they say no. How much are you giving a cab driver to take you from Fenway after a game to Newton Center? Cash. Not running the meter, but they do say no.
Are you asking me how much I would? I don't know,
Yes.
60?
Okay, good. That makes me feel better because I said 50.
Yeah.
I said 50 because I didn't feel like negotiating.
Yeah, Sunday, they got to drive into traffic to come get you.
No. They're already there. It's not an Uber.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
like you go up to the cab that's parked out.
60 would be.
Yeah, so I said
ballpark
50.
it, Yeah.
I paid the guy 50. Smelly car. But nonetheless,
Why don't you take that? Why don't you take the Ubers? Why do you prefer the cab?
because they're standing right there, and to call an Uber, all the traffic in front of Fenway. I take an Uber there.
That's bad.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, I don't know why, but I can't get on Uber. Maybe they've banned me for some reason. It's very possible. I mean,
What about Lyft?
I take Lyft. That's what I take. In Lyft, I have a perfect rating.
Oh,
Hey. Good for you.
I don't think they're as snobby with Lyft ratings as they were with Uber. Remember when we talked about Uber that one time? And one of the things you can get knocked for is talking on the phone in the back of the car.
Yes.
Like, well, that's the whole point of this operation. Like, you're driving.
And that ruins the rating. Like the driver gets pissed, you don't talk to him or her.
No, I think it's just the idea that you're making noise in the back. It's, well, if I want to talk on the phone, I'm talking on the phone. I don't care if they play music or NPR talking about places in the world that I'll never hear of. How anyone listens to NPR is beyond me. And there's a situation going in.
That's right.
And, the rebel outlaws and
BBC World News.
Yeah, BBC World News.
I can't do that.
And I'm like, how much empathy do you want me to have? I got enough going on. I can't worry about what's going on.
I used to like the weekend programming. Wait, don't tell me. That was a fun show.
Oh, an Ira Glass is a treasure.
He is. My sister saw Ira Glass in a coffee shop once, and she was legitimately starstruck. Huh. She couldn't go up and speak to him.
She have sex with him?
Yeah. All right. So in this in this baseball game, there was a play at the plate. Dan?
Here's the throw to the plate. And he's out. And Contreras is barking at him. Tommy Pham barking back. He's not backing down. He doesn't like that.
And now home plate umpire Edwin Jimenez has to hold back Pham. Nah, we ain't taking that. We ain't taking that from the Brewers.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Jesus Christ. Shut up. You're in Chicago, for Christ's sakes. Act like it. Act like you've been there before. What are you doing?
He's not backing down. He doesn't like that. And now home plate umpire has to hold back Pham. Now we ain't taking that. Tommy Pham ain't taking that. Now we ain't taking that from the Brewers.
He took it a little bit, but it was a typical baseball fight where everybody got up there and pretended like they were going to fight, but there's no actual fight.
Yeah, what's up with this guy's a third largest media market? What's he doing yelling and screaming for the superior local team? What's he doing? Isn't Steve Stone involved in this operation now?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the White Sox guy because I don't think it's Hawk Harrelson anymore. I think it's Steve Stone.
Yes, John Schifrin is play-by-play. Steve Stone, NBC Sports Chicago.
We ain't taking that. We ain't taking that from the Brewers.
We ain't taking that from the Brewers.
Oh, it's the Grandy of baseball.
How many L's we got this year? We ain't taking that.
What's this guy look like? He better be big or like a jiu-jitsu guy.
No. He's not any of those things.
How about you're taking anything? Let's put him in prison for a week and see how he ends up. He'll have Kool-Aid on his cheeks by the end.
Pham to make sure that everybody cools down. I mean, it was a clean play on all sides, well executed. You've got to take a gamble there. Maybe the throw is off the mark.
Hey, make up your mind. Make up your mind. Now it's a clean play all around?
Well, now the color analyst is saying that.
Oh, yeah, because he's like JV guy. So the color analyst is the good broadcaster. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a good broadcaster paired with a piece of garbage.
And for whatever reason, William Contreras decided he was going to give Tommy Pham an earful. Might be the wrong guy to do that, too.
Oh, that's the last dude you want to do that to.
Oh, hey, now Steve Stone's really good. You remember him with Harry Carey. So Steve Stone's like, calm down, Junior. Like, Steve Stone was a pitcher. Steve Stone's been around.
Yeah.
Steve Stone was calling Cubs games in like the 80s. So he's telling this guy, he's like, all right, calm down, Junior. You never played. Like, let's stop saying we, for Christ's sakes. Unless this team blows and no one is watching us right now. All right, do you got more? Is there more?
Well,
to
this is Tommy Pham after the game. So this is, if you think it was insufferable listening to the, we ain't taking that. Tommy Pham, well, just listen.
1-run ball game, close play at the plate, and actually it wasn't close. It was a shallow fly ball to left field. You would expect the left fielder to throw the base runner out on that play, but the situation of the game, third base coach sends you got to go. I'm nailed out at home by a mile. I'm going to the dugout, and I hear the tough guy with all the hoorah. So I'll never start anything, but I'll be prepared.
Yeah, the hoorah's the play-by-play.
Yeah, the hoorah stuff is the play-by-play guy.
Well, we'll wait till the end. Tommy Pham, he drops one in.
Prepared to finish it. There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season because I'm prepared to somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
Because we know that there's a lot of reason for fighting in Major League Baseball. I can see why you have to get ready.
That's right.
And he's going to fight Contreras?
And
he's going to fight Contreras with all the catching equipment on?
There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, for what? What a waste of time. Why don't you work on hitting?
In Major League Baseball, Tommy.
Why don't you work on hitting, stupid? This is what you're going to focus on? How about you focus on hitting? You played 33 games this year. How about you get it together? How about you learn how to hit so you're not such a journeyman?
There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season because I'm prepared to somebody up.
Of course you are.
In a baseball game?
It happens a lot. Hey, look, you got to be prepared. You never know when you're going to get blindsided.
You never know when you're going to be involved in one of these massive baseball brawls where there's 50 guys on the field.
You mean when people run out onto the field and do nothing and then jog
just
back to their bullpens and dugouts?
And they just stand there.
They stand there for a while? Yeah.
Well,
work on your career. Work on things that you need to work on. He's played for St. Louis, Tampa Bay, San Diego, Cincinnati, Boston, the Mets, Arizona, and the White Sox.
In like a 9-year span.
He's got 0.1 WAR, by the way, so he is 0.1 better than the average center fielder.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I'm prepared to somebody up.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah, he's hitting 280, 33 games. What's the White Sox record?
15-45.
And he's played 33 of those games.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's injury.
I think they just signed him, to be honest with you. I don't think
Oh,
he
you think
started.
they signed him? Okay.
I don't think they started. I don't think he started the season with the team.
All right, my point stands.
Yeah.
There you go. That's just as bad. Well, he didn't start the season in the major leagues because the White Sox are the only team he's played on this year.
No, I think they signed him
off the street.
I'm not sure about this, but I think they signed him off the street.
Yeah, he always bothered me. He was all pissy in St. Louis about like they're not giving me my money, and it's like, all right, Tom.
Pham was here about 3 teams in 2 years ago. Go figure. The Red Sox a street free agent, put him right in the starting lineup. That never happens.
He was minus WAR. He hit a minus WAR with the Boston Red Sox.
Well, they needed an outfielder because they ran out of scrap heap guys.
Yeah, I don't like him. He the whole fighting and everything else, and he's just a real hothead. I don't care for it. And I don't think he's a hothead that like his teammates would like. I think he runs himself out of towns.
Right.
He ran himself out of St. Louis. Go ahead.
No, if you're like Johnny Gomes, then then you end up being the guy you want to go to war with. He's the type where you accept it and embrace it. I mean, that's a guy that you need on your team. You want him out there, but this
Because I'm prepared to somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
He had one really, really good year with Tampa Bay. And then other than that, it's been a very mediocre career for Tommy Pham. Listen, God bless him. He's played many, many seasons.
Pham was the guy who punched his fantasy football commissioner.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hothead.
On another team. He was upset at that guy.
He's like someone that is like an ancillary friend that you just don't want to be alone with. You know what I'm saying? He's going to just make everything like super difficult. All right, Tommy, calm. And the guy you got to calm down. Ugh. Calm down. Ugh. That's why I do all this, man. That's why I fight in the offseason.
We're not taking this. No, we're not taking any of this.
There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season.
the reason is
Yeah, the reason is
because I can't for the life of me figure out why you would need to do that for
yeah,
your job. But okay.
How many career fights so you can in next fantasy football manager, perhaps this hockey fantasy hockey manager.
Yeah. Won't run afoul of him, right?
For the 0 fights a year you get into. Maybe he could go out publicly and fight a fan that messes with him at a bar and lose all his money. It's a good idea. I mean, I do judo for the chess of it.
Oh. Do you play a lot of chess?
I mean, you tell me. I'm always 5 moves ahead. You know what they call me on the playground?
Can't wait to find out.
Freddie the Rook.
What?
You heard me.
Hardy, can you help me here?
Oh, it's a chess piece.
They call me the Bishop Fred Juan.
Oh, all right.
Knight to B7. Boom.
Right.
F you.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better than being Pawn Wallach over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Was this more Tommy Pham?
I slapped Josh. I did some I don't condone, so I had to address it.
Play the beginning again.
I slapped Josh.
That's from the Greta Garbo School of Fighting. I slapped him across the effing face. Paul! Paul, don't hit me. Paul! Why do you make me do this? You make me so angry. My face is blushed. That's right, I slapped you.
Because I'm prepared to somebody up.
And by that, I mean slap him I'm going to tickle him until he pees. That's what I'm going to do. Sometimes that's the best defense. I take this tickle class. We all put on diapers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in just a moment with the news.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics are still on their extended break. We continue to wait for game one of the
with Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
When I heard him on Saturday when he wasn't talking about throwing up because he had a sandwich that had lettuce on it.
Yes.
And his hatred of cucumbers. He did say he went through the exercise of teams with long layoffs, how they performed in the playoffs, and generally well. But the outliers arguably lost to better teams. So there you go. That was that exercise. He did the homework. I don't want to go through the same one because you probably heard Joe do it. Because Joe brings the people. And Tim Cato covers the Dallas Mavericks for The Athletic. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Tim, hello, sir.
What's up?
Hey, Tim.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on with us. It's very nice of you to do so. All right. Is this surprising to you that the Mavericks are in the finals this year? Like, at what point in this season did you think, all right, this team's got a chance to do something big?
It's a little surprising. There was points during the postseason I definitely expected to be more poolside than courtside,
right?
Around now, but this is also a team that proved a lot down the stretch of the season. There was a overtime win they had in late March that, just felt like they were, everything came together. It was one of those games where, you're used to watching a team and, they're not playing well and they find a way to win anyway. That sort of mentality, the grit, the guts. I mean, we can talk strategy on court stuff, but this team has proven this time and time again as after the trade that they had a different mentality than, even one I've seen in Dallas, maybe ever in the Luka Doncic era. And, then they just kept winning. And, I think the conference finals was a pretty big statement of intent and, of talent. And so that's who this team is, a worthy representative. Surprised. Yeah. But, here they are.
Yeah. And we've heard of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I have heard of that. But past the two superstars, in terms of depth on this team, where do they stand for us who have not been watching Dallas all season?
Well, you guys are going to get to know Derek Lively, the rookie center. He is coming off the bench. He's pretty much their third most important player. And, we'll see how this specific matchup works for him. But, on both sides of the ball, he just has so much importance as, a smart decision maker and dunker. There's a reason Dallas leads the league in lob dunks in the postseason. And he's been a huge part of that. And then defensively, he's someone who can play every coverage. He can switch on to, even the Jason Tatums of the world and do a competent job. Obviously, Dallas wants him near the rim as much as possible, but he just unlocks so much for their, defensive schemes. PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr., obviously are the two starting wings, and PJ in particular has been super important for him. Allows a lot of flexibility and versatility. I wouldn't be shocked if this ends up being a Maxi Kleber series. He's someone who has a little bit more ability to shoot and to switch out and gives them size. The one matchup they played in the regular season after the trade deadline, Dallas and Boston, was a March matchup that Boston won pretty handily. And it was before Dallas made the final changes to their starting lineup with Derek Jones re-entering it, and that's when Daniel Gafford ended up being the starter. But Derek Jones only played 7 minutes in that matchup, and there is some, as important as he's been, and he's going to play more than 7 minutes in the series. There may be some matchup issues for him in this lineup. And so Dallas is going to try to keep him on the floor as much as possible. But, the trick is going to be that he's got to be, helping the Dallas defense more than he's hurting their offense. And, so that's one big thing to look at.
What is the biggest change in Dallas from last year, which ended pretty much an abject disaster, to this year? And what's the biggest change in Kyrie Irving from last year to this year?
The first one's just talent. I think it's that simple. The Dallas has needed more talent. They've needed more, guys who were picked in the lottery They got that with Derek Lively. They got that with PJ Washington. For too long, I think Dallas has just understood that Luka amplifies his teammates and have kind of gotten away with that. They've kind of skated by with, second rounders or reclamation projects, stuff like that. So they just got talent. As for Kyrie, I do think that this situation is both one that fits him well, but he also understands that he's in his 30s now, and that he has to make the most of his career, and he's done that. He's been a sensational teammate. He's been great with the media. He's been all of these things. I didn't live the Kyrie Boston years as closely as you guys did. I understand it was very different back then. All I have to say is that whatever the Boston experience with Kyrie was, from my impression, it is complete 180 of who he's been in Dallas.
Which is crazy to us because we talked about it last week and how, we've been told it's like he's a different guy. He's a different guy now. We're wondering, is he taking on this new persona? Has he decided, no, I think I'm going to be like the mature, go along to get along teammate now, which if he is, Tim, I guess maybe so what? If it translates to success on the court, if all he's doing is playing a role, well, so be it, because he's playing a role that has him playing very well in tandem with the likes of Luka and everyone else you mentioned.
He also realizes, Hardy, I think, that this is his last chance. I mean, he blew up the right. Celtics. He blew up Brooklyn. He's in his 30s. And, Tim, see if you agree. I mean, signing with Dallas, we were all up here really surprised when Dallas invested all that money in him based on how the season ended last year and his reputation. Maybe Kyrie thinks this is his last real chance.
Yeah, it's funny. Dallas is obviously not a glamour market. It's not a city where you think Kyrie Irving with, all the, at times drama, but certainly the, just the superstardom. It's weird for him to even be here in the first place. And obviously you guys know, kind of what transpired to get there. But yeah, I do think that there is probably some of that, with the, just the idea that he's, trying to make the most of, the rest he has of his prime. But yeah, it's funny that so many people around the NBA, like players and peers of Kyrie, still love him. I don't know how much that's the case in Boston. It seems like, Jason Tatum has a good relationship, Jaylen Brown a little more questionable, but he's always been able to be this guy. I think the respect he has around the league from players kind of speaks to that, but just fully channeling it and not, devolving into these moments where, he is less than the player he can be both on the court and in the locker room. I think that kind of marks his Dallas experience thus far.
All right, Tim, as you've covered the Mavericks for The Athletic, and you've done a great job, when you look at this series, who do you like ultimately? How many games? Who do you like? What happens?
Yeah, I think that this is a series of identity that Boston is out here. They want to play 1v1. They don't want to help. They don't want to scramble. And they might be forced into that. That is how good Luka and Kyrie are together as a backcourt. On the other side, Dallas wants to sag off shooters. They want to have help at the rim. They want Derek Lively to be there contesting shots. This is the one team you might not be able to do that against. I think I think that identity might favor Dallas early on. I kind of feel they get game one. I've seen them find ways to win over and over again coming into the series. Throughout this postseason. I'm going to say Dallas in 6. I don't feel good about it. I've just seen them win so much. I think the math favors Boston, but we'll see how the adjustments go. And if they win, there's no surprise there. I've just seen this team win that I cover. Proximity bias, too much to pick against them at this point.
Well, you're not on an island. I was surprised how many national guys are picking them to win. So you are definitely not on an island there. And boy, That would piss off a lot of people here.
Oh,
Kyrie Irving getting his championship.
You have no idea.
I mean, people harbor. I don't know about if you know this, Tim. A lot of resentments towards him here. A lot of resentments. A lot of people.
I've picked up on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, someone went so far as to throw an empty water bottle in his direction. It was really bad. Tim Cato covers the Mavericks for The Athletic. Tim, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, there you
Thanks,
go.
Tim.
Tim Cato with a very soothing voice.
Yeah.
You got me very relaxed during that.
You got that Texas drawl.
No. It was more of a Barry White situation. It was almost an ASMR situation for me. I became transfixed by his voice. All right, we'll be back. There is some news regarding the Bruins, but also we will get to our own version of the news that I so rudely pushed through earlier this morning. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins. Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
Only 4 days and counting now for the Celtics, who play Dallas in Game 1 of the NBA Finals Thursday night at TD Garden. This is a long layoff for Jason Tatum, who hasn't played a game in over a week.
9 days off is, kind of good for your body, right, and things like that, and everybody to get healthy. But, we're in the NBA Finals, and, we're all so anxious and excited to play. I wish it did start a little bit earlier so we could get after it.
Kristaps Porzingis did everything the team did at practice on Saturday, although it wasn't at full speed. One online report yesterday indicates the Celtics are examining the possibility of adding Jeff Van Gundy as an assistant coach next season. He would replace Charles Lee, who's leaving after the finals to become the new head coach in Charlotte. As for the Stanley Cup playoffs, the finals are finally set. Edmonton got outshot 35-10 last night, but they still scored twice in the first period and hung on for a 2-1 home win over Dallas to win the West in 6 games. They visit Florida for Game 1 of the best of 7 on Saturday night. Detroit got 4 in the 10th to beat the Red Sox 8-4 at Fenway Park yesterday. Red Sox dropped back to 500 on the season. They play Atlanta at Fenway tomorrow night. And in tennis, round 4 of the French Open continuing in Paris this morning. Top seed Novak Djokovic among those expected to play. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by WellPoint, formerly Unicare. They've teamed with Charlie Coyle, Mass State and local police, the professional firefighters of Mass and Bruins Radio for face-offs for first responders. If you or a loved one are thinking about suicide, get free and confidential help 24/7 on a Lifeline network. Just text or call 988-NOW. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score in the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
And Hardy on Twitter and Instagram. I'm a collaborator at Fred Toucher on Instagram, and apparently it's making news. Tyler Milliken's coming in the police detail here. Doesn't like the looks of him. He's saying this guy's a piece of garbage. Where's his cousin? Can I get his autograph? All right, so everyone go to @Toucher and Hardy or @Fred Toucher to look at this piece of beautiful video content young Nikolai has put together. Chad Finn from the Boston Globe?
Sure.
He's a columnist now. He's a bigwig over there. He's not just doing Boston sports media, but since Boston sports media is a sport now and covered as a sport and followed as a sport by listeners.
Did he do a feature on Milliken's cousin?
Not yet. And I like Chad a lot. And even though I wish he would push back a little bit when he interviews people and he knows they're lying.
You specifically.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I lie a lot.
You could deal with a little more pushback.
I've never texted or emailed Chad any information of any kind. I swear on any God you want me to. But I mean, but I think I do have to believe he knows some things that he's been told.
Did he ever ask you how you're doing?
No.
He's never reached out and say, "Hey, Fred, how you doing?"
No.
Oh.
But if I have to write an apology to him, I wonder if he'll have to approve that one too. But it was no big deal. Push back a little bit is all I ask. Because the truth is not being told. All right, here we go. But that's not why I brought it up. The season's over for the Bruins. Here, I'm going to read from Boston.com. 2 weeks after the season's conclusion, the quest to find Jack Edwards' successor by Nesson is going on.
Yep.
And Nesson's spokesperson on Thursday said the network has no update regarding the search, but here's what I gathered, Chad Finn, from talking to the people on background who are involved in this process. Nesson and the Bruins have reached out to Dave Gosher, who is very familiar with Bruins fans. Dave Gosher is in no way, shape, or form taking this job.
Why wouldn't he take this job?
Because he loves Las Vegas. You know it as much as me. He's like in some cover band. He's like every picture of him.
His new avatar. You go online, you look at his Twitter page. It's him shredding.
Yeah, every time we talk, he's different. He's different now. Not in a bad way, but
he's more relaxed.
He's like relaxed. He feels like the belle of the ball. I think he likes working with the sheriff.
They love him out there too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't. people insist that they love him so much, it makes me think everyone's exaggerating a little bit.
Oh.
Because how would you know they love him? And how would I know they love him? Like, what evidence? In all seriousness, when you say they love him out there, which I've heard from other people, what's your evidence of it?
When we were out in Las Vegas for that Patriots game, people would come up to me and Rich and talk about Gosher and how good he was during the broadcast.
Whoa. How did people know who you were?
Well, they saw us they saw we were a Boston radio station. We had set up in the lobby of the Wynn. That's the broadcast that Hardy did on that Saturday.
Wait, that many people in Vegas made the connection between you being on a Boston radio station, Dave Gosher having called Bruins games?
Yes.
How many people, John?
5.
Hardy, do you believe 5 people did that?
I don't know. I have other evidence that he is well received in Las Vegas from my friends who live there and watch the Golden Knights on
there
TV,
you go.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, Gosher, he's good. We like him."
Okay.
But when you say he's never leaving, he loves it there. He loves it there. Most people now, my 2 friends that I just referenced are the exception. Guys who moved there from Chicago 25 years ago and have stayed. They're the exception. Most people, when they go to Vegas for a job, like I did, like my wife did, like many people do, they're there for a time and then they leave. And I have just as many friends that I know from that era who are no longer in Las Vegas because you can only stay there for so long.
Do you think that Nesson would pay him more than he's making in Vegas?
No idea.
Do you think Nesson would pay him more than he's making in Vegas?
I
John?
don't think Nesson is in the business of spending a lot of money on anything.
John, you have said the correct answer. Ding, ding, ding. My agent one time called Nesson because she's like, I'm just going to do due diligence to see if they would pay you to do anything on TV, and she didn't even know who to call. She called and no one was answering the phone.
The average
and not because they
age-
knew who she was. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
Nesson's not going to pay him anymore. Believe me, Dave Gosher's not leaving for that job.
The average age of the people on Nesson before they eliminated most of their evening programming was about 22.
The cost of living is so much cheaper out there, too.
Gosher's not leaving that job, dude. They're not going to offer him more money. He doesn't desperately want to come back to Boston. According to one potential candidate, Nesson is putting together a group of prospective play-by-play voices to audition in their Watertown studios. And I'll tell you this.
Brickley's going to have to give up tanning time for this.
No, I don't know if he's going to have to be involved. I have a feeling he says no. Alex Voss, someone named Alex Voss, the Northeastern grad and former Los Angeles Kings announcer, was presumed to have the inside track after the season. Mm-hmm. He did fine work for the substitute role, but it's uncertain. He was the substitute when Jack was out. But it's uncertain whether Nesson considers him one of the leading candidates. My thing is this: why wouldn't it be just like it was with Dave Gosher? Why wouldn't Judd Surratt get the job and then Ryan Johnston get the radio job? That's the easiest thing. Ryan Johnston should do the radio job, and Judd Surratt should get the TV job. Why is Judd Surratt not the main candidate? The Nesson money has got to be better than the radio money, and Ryan Johnston is called hockey forever. So have Judd Surratt do TV and Ryan Johnston do the radio. There, I solved your problem.
Ta-da!
It's over. Judd Surratt is going to be better than Jack Edwards was, certainly at the end. No, not because it's Jack's fault. But Judd Surratt will be good, and then Ryan will be really good at radio.
Well,
there, I've solved your problem. It's all in-house, and you don't have to do anything. The Bruins are familiar with both of them. There you have it. Kaboom.
Okay, maybe they've tried that, and Judd Surratt said, hey, you want to know why I'm not leaving radio? You want to know why I didn't take the TV job? And that screws things up for everybody.
Like Grandy did.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even make that connection. But yes, Fred, thank you.
Yeah, Sean Grandy claims to have turned down the television job to stay on radio, and he would be the first person in human history ever to do that. But I did turn down a job at MTV as a VJ when I was working at 99X in Atlanta.
Well, because they wanted to pay you $18,000 a year to live in Manhattan?
Well, it was 30, but, it's close.
Sure.
They wanted to pay me $30,000 to move to Manhattan from Atlanta. That was what the big plan was in terms of what MTV wanted for me.
You could do that if you lived in Rhode Island and commuted. Sure.
No, I live in the city.
And in Game 4, in the final seconds, with everything on the line, the Boston Celtics take the series and the championship of the Eastern Conference. The final score.
That's not even it. All right, I played the wrong one.
That's okay.
All right, but I can assure you this. Judd Surratt would take the television job in 10 seconds, and Ryan Johnson would take the radio job in 10 seconds. Ryan Johnson has done the radio job before, so that's what they should do. They should put Judd Surratt on television and then put Ryan Johnson on the radio.
I think that's a very good idea.
And it's an easy thing. The negotiations would be simple. Don't overthink it. It's not like Surratt's old. He can do it forever. Ryan Johnson's not old. He can do it forever. Just there you go. I would have done it already. Why would I? Dave Gosher's not leaving. They're not going to pay him more money than he's making in Vegas, and he's not going to leave Las Vegas. I'd be shocked. Now watch, he leaves today. But I don't know Dave. I know Dave, but I don't talk to Dave. Like I like him, but we're not friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have his phone. I might have his phone number, but we don't text to each other or anything like that. He's not like me and Billy Jaffe.
You know Jaffe outside of the station?
Wow. Is that right?
Johnston's really good on the radio. I mean, I would go so far as to say he's as good as Wallach is calling Celtics.
Well, I don't know why Ryan Johnson doesn't have a full-time job in the radio, especially based on things that have been happening recently. And then you put a phony baloney tweet out about Ryan Johnson should get the TV job. Well, why don't you hire him? But this is the deal.
Who are you talking to?
You're not as obsessed as I am.
I've lost track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a typical typical love me. Well, then why didn't you hire him if you love him so much? So here's the deal, you phony prick. So here's the deal. Ryan Johnson should get the radio job.
Yep.
Is that not typical behavior? If you're going to cover your face, is that not prototypical? That's his behavior.
I don't know as well as you.
You think I'm off base?
I don't know.
Okay. How about you, Johnny?
I don't even know who we're talking about.
Yes, you do.
I have no idea who we're talking about.
He really might not.
No, I just no idea where this conversation is headed.
I really think he's playing like he does know, but he doesn't know.
I don't know. I'll tell you this face to face. I don't know what you're talking about.
I totally actually believe you. But there you go. Ryan Johnston takes the radio job. Judd Surratt takes the TV job.
Well, I like it. Ryan's certainly deserving of it.
That's what I say. All right, Scott's calling. And Scott Zolak, hello.
Good.
Scotty Z. Hello, Scott.
What is happening?
Nick just pointed at Dan.
Nick pointed at me. Yeah, I did that.
Why?
Oh.
You saw that it was Scott. I said to Nick, can you grab Scott on line 1? And you said, Scotty, and he picked up the phone. He put it on hold. You and I both put him on the air at the same time.
Can we try and get him back, please? Is it Scott and Rentham?
Scott, call back, please.
Please.
Thank God.
I have to wait for the delay. Yep.
All right. You know, I can answer the phone. I do with everyone else. I just hit the button, and that's how I get him on the phone. All right. Well, we've discussed that, and everyone agrees with me that it should be Surratt gets TV and Johnson gets radio, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Who are you texting?
Ryan deserves it.
I'm texting Scott, telling him to call back.
No, you're not.
I'm texting Scott, telling him to call back.
Okay. I think he's lost the fire. He's doing something else now. He's calling other shows.
If Judd Surratt wants the
I'm answering the phone. Nick, put the effing phone down. Just put it on hold. Scott Zolak.
Your intern is awful. Absolutely awful.
It's not an intern. It's Nick.
Oh, God. Sorry. Well, I'm driving around. You guys are telling these great stories. Who are you talking about?
I don't know.
Rich.
Maybe you can get it out of him. Oh, is that right? I'm sorry. I didn't know that's what you were talking about.
There's only one choice, Ryan Johnson. Why didn't you hire him if you like him so much? Stop doing that. Stop doing that.
I'll see you guys in a bit.
All right.
Thanks,
There you
Al.
go. There you have it. All right. We'll be back
He
with
was in some kind of bad mood about that traffic last week.
Scotty Z?
Yeah, for somebody who reportedly never has a bad day. He had a couple of bad days last week. He did not like that traffic.
All right. Very good. Well, we will be back with our award-winning email bit.
Oh, people love it.
Oh, they do. They enjoy it very much. We will be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Homeowners in Massachusetts are saving up to 50% on a completely new HVAC system. Interested in upgrading? Then choose Tetra, the easiest move.
The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
All right, so John's all riled up. It's Dutcher and Hardy.
This is breaking sports news. Powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change on 98.5, the Sports Hub.
I thought this was worthy of it. It's going to reset the wide receiver market in the NFL, boys.
It's not. But
Minnesota and Justin Jefferson have a new deal, according to Ian Rappaport. 4-year contract extension worth $140 million, $110 million of which is guaranteed. $35 million a season for a wide receiver.
It's a big contract. It's the 110 guaranteed is impressive, but it is not breaking news worthy.
Oh.
You and Dan O'Brien made that call on your own, Fred?
No, Dan said no.
Dan said no.
Would you have played the breaking news for that, Fred?
If it gets people's ears perked up and then they start actually paying attention, unlike John.
Oh, just for the charade, you would do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's breaking news that, the best receiver in the NFL has been signed to a big contract.
All right.
They couldn't afford to lose him.
I don't want you to turn into the boy you cried breaking news. That's all.
When was the last time Minnesota has won a championship? They have 4 major franchises.
Twins, right? It's got to be Twins. It's not the Vikings.
Well, the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So that would be good.
Not the Vikings.
Not the
Minnesota Wild.
Uh-uh.
No, it's got to be the Twins.
And the Timberwolves have never won a championship.
Right. When did the Twins win?
80s.
When they met me.
They beat St. Louis.
Oh, those double mint twins.
Yeah.
All right. I get a lot of emails.
Gross.
I get a lot of.
I love playing two-hand touch, eating way too much, watching my team win with the Twins. I love quarterbacks eating dirt, pom-poms and short skirts, fans who won't quit, and those Twins. And I love them.
So big advertising agencies think that little of you, ladies and gentlemen, and also they believe that you are incredibly into incest because you want not only relatives in a fantasy world, you want relatives that were born at the same time, as close as any relatives could possibly be.
And even if there were no relations between the twins in this menage a trois threesome that you have, do you really want the twins having that psychic twin conversation about you while you're engaging in some kind of relations with them?
I don't even know if that's a fantasy of people.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I don't know. Why would you want 2 people that look identical? Wouldn't you want 2 people that don't look the same? That would be the whole point of it, is that you want 2 different women.
Describe two different looking women that you would want to be with at the same time, Fred. What would they both look like?
Well, one would be B. Arthur type.
Right.
Because she's a real take charge lady.
Exactly. Kind of direct things.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of limbs. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Probably her, and then maybe like a Natalie from Facts of Life.
Sure.
Like could kind of cut up.
A pleaser?
No, I don't know how she would be with that, but she could kind of just cut up.
Okay.
Like, because here's B and Arthur, and she's being a disciplinarian. She's telling me, like, you do this, you do that. And then in the corner, we have Mindy Cohn, Natalie from Facts of Life. She's like, she's being kind of like a wiseacre. That'd be fun. Because I think afterwards we could have, we could spend some time together. It wouldn't be over as right when it was over.
Do you remember when Joe made the pizzas? The gourmet pizzas?
I do not. Was that for Edna's Edibles?
I don't know where they were selling them, but there was an artichoke heart in the middle of every pizza, and that was kind of the delicacy. And then they started cutting corners, Fred, and there's only half an artichoke heart. And it was a metaphor to end all metaphors. Half a heart. Half-hearted attempt at the pizza.
A guy that I used to work with played Joe's boyfriend in an episode, who was a ne'er-do-well who would sneak into her window and try to convince her to go back to her old life on the streets. His name was Jimmy Barron. He's about a 5'2" little Jewish guy, and he played the rough and tumble
Boyfriend of Joe?
A boyfriend of Joe.
Wow.
Who would go, he was from the old neighborhood, and he was trying to convince her to leave. And
Interesting
ultimately,
casting.
Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, he'll admit it. And because another movie he was in is Can't Stop the Music, the Village People movie.
But then again, that's why.
He was in Risky Business.
Who do you play in Risky Business?
He said he comes up to the party when they're having all the prostitutes in the house, and he said, "My brother from Stokey is here or something."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Skokie, probably.
Skokie, yeah.
All right, I'll look for him in the next time.
Yeah, Jimmy Bird,
That's
good guy.
That's still a watchable movie. Risky Business.
Yeah, and it's funny when I watched it when I was younger, how much I didn't understand what was going on.
Oh, very little.
Like, it knew nothing about what was going on. I don't even think I totally understood it was a prostitute. Like, I don't think there was a million things I didn't get. Same thing with Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Have you watched that as an adult?
It was on. It's been on recently, and I've seen clips of it recently. Yeah.
I was so dumb. I had no idea that what happened with Damone and the girl, how quick that was. I didn't understand what happened there, and I had no idea that the speaker salesman was so much older than the girl that he made love to, and that was a problem.
Right.
Like I everything was so over my head. But that was before the internet. Now we can find out anything we need.
Yeah.
So be Arthur and Mindy Cohn if you need to know.
Okay. Who did George Clooney play on Facts of Life? What was his role?
Oh, he was a felon that Edna hired for Edna's Edibles to get a tax break.
No.
He's convicted of numerous assaults.
No.
He was Georgie the assault guy.
Okay.
That's what he was.
All right. So sometimes they would do that with fringe characters. It's like, what is the character's name going to be? What's the actor's name? We'll just keep it.
Remember Designing Women? How they had the African American gentleman who helped out, and it was a big thing because it was in the South, and he was a convicted felon. And I'm not making that up.
Okay, but I didn't watch Designing Women. I know you watched all the shows.
You never watched Designing Women.
I know what the show is, Delta Burke.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know anything about it. I don't think I ever saw 1 second of it.
Did you ever watch Young Sheldon?
No.
Annie Post?
No.
She was on Designing Women.
Okay. I know you watched all the shows.
Annie Potts?
Potts.
Okay.
Annie Potts. That's her name, right?
Yes.
Way to contribute, John. Thank you.
I thought you said Post.
He did.
So.
He only contributed to correct you.
Yes.
I thought it was Marky Post. I was still fantasizing.
Well, Marky
about
Post
her.
is a whole different situation.
By the way, if you ever see a Marky Post calendar with her in a bikini,
really?
Hubba.
I've not.
All right.
No. We're going to get to the emails. Okay, so I get a lot of catching up emails, catching up on the podcast. Didn't hear this until now. So I got one over the weekend. Big fan of the show. Listened to the podcast because of my work schedule. How did the guys down in Tampa react when Nick said, "I don't want to be on the radio"? Were they intimidated, confused, or saddened? Along those lines, my wife is a speech pathologist in a preschool and has to deal with many similar speech issues that Nick presents on a daily basis. For a small fee, I'm sure we could work out some speech sessions for him. And bonus for Nicholas, she's also worked with stroke victims. So if you want to get into this, Nick, we can probably hook you up with a speech pathologist who works with the preschoolers.
Yeah, Nick's speech has gotten no worse since he woke up covered in his own feces in his bed. His speech has not gotten any worse. It was just always that way.
Did he have a stroke or is it a heart thing?
They don't really know what happened. You had a stroke? They're saying you had, but they don't know.
It's not definitive.
No. I mean, they might really think that, Nick, but they don't know that you had a stroke.
And don't think we'd be such monsters that we would be laughing at you for having a stroke.
That's right. He had a stroke here. He did he has had a stroke.
No, Mike had to take him to the hospital.
Yeah, Mike Lockhart took Nick to the hospital because Nick had a stroke here. When he was covering his own feces, that was not a stroke.
But that's when he wasn't coming in here.
No, the guys in Tampa, all they did was spawn a reaction to me that requires us to have a police detail here. So I hope those guys, when they get sued by Nick and the company, are very happy when they get sued.
Yeah, it's their fault.
This is all gonna be thrown into that case.
Yeah, it'd be on a line item. Extra cost, actual damages.
I think that's part of the reason the company's so willing to get the police details.
Yeah, because it's going to be recovered.
Because they know it's going to be recouped.
A lot of emails, too, about you not stopping for people trying to back out into traffic, Fred, landscapers,
I would imagine
movers.
a lot of support.
Not a ton of support for your side of it. Nate from Rochester says, I live in a rural town, Rochester, Mass., full of wetlands and cranberry bogs. Wildlife in the roads is a common occurrence. Well, just this morning, I was driving on one of the main roads, noticed a snapping turtle crossing in front of me, put the hazard lights on, stopped, put up my hands to stop oncoming traffic and help the turtle across the road. Cars waited patiently for about a minute, and we went on with our day. Could you ask Fred what he would do in this situation?
Well, I don't know if I'd be in that situation, for I do not live in the country.
Okay, let's say someone had stopped traffic to allow a turtle to cross the road.
Well, I couldn't do anything because he's in the middle of the road, and I would kill a pedestrian, and then that would put me in trouble. So I'd have to stop. I'd yell at him probably. I'd be like, "Get the hell out of the road, hippie!" Mm-hmm. Ooh, a turtle. I'll have turtle soup when I get home.
Have you ever had turtle soup?
No.
Disgusting.
Really?
Is it really turtle though?
Yeah, I had turtle soup in St. Louis. It's a big turtle soup festival. It's gross.
No, I wouldn't kill I wouldn't kill an animal with my car on purpose. I wouldn't. To be honest with you, to give you a real answer, I would stop, and I would understand the guy stopping traffic because there was a turtle in the road,
Right.
and then I would say I don't want to hit it because you don't want to be the guy that hits the animal in front of everyone, certainly, and I wouldn't do it in my own life. Because I'm an animal lover. I adopted a dog. You guys know that? From Tennessee.
I've heard.
Yeah, they were going to kill him. And I went in there and adopted him away. No one wanted him. No one wanted him. But I got him.
And you're a better man for it.
I think, people say I saved him, John, but,
He saved
I
you.
did save him.
Yeah.
No, he didn't save me.
Oh.
Go ahead. What else? You got him up? Hardy, go ahead. John doesn't got nothing.
I have a couple here.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, I got more, but I was, other than correcting you, I didn't know if Wildlick
All
wanted
mine
to
are
contribute.
wildly positive, so I don't feel like reading them today. I'm communicating with them myself.
I understand. There's a guy who, for some reason, addressed this to me, but he's upset at you about the fire at a crowded theater thing you said.
I got this
last week. In defense of the Espionage Act, Oliver Holmes wrote, "The fire in the theater analogy as an example limits the free speech. The term is not a wives' tale. Fred once again proves he's an only child of affluent parents with this take."
I don't know how that proves. I don't know how that
love
proves
James.
the OCS that we accuse Fred of suffering from, the only child syndrome. But it does prove that the yelling fire in a crowded theater is part of precedent, courtesy of Justice Holmes. So there you go.
Yeah, and also, only child definitely has affected my personality. There's no question about it. But I have been thinking about this and ruminating upon it recently. My parents, the wealth of my parents, I have been thinking about it, trying to think about it honestly. And it's hard in a room with kids that had to wear, guys when they were kids had to wear toughskins to compare with that. But I was thinking, like, for instance, I took my son to the Red Sox game yesterday, and I was thinking about, like, we were talking about how many professional baseball games we've been to in his lifetime.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking how many my dad took me to, which was 2. And then I went, well, okay, I paid $250 to go to the game. What would that have been in 1985 or 1983? And then I started thinking, and I'm like, my parents didn't have a whole lot of money. Like, my parents we never did anything fun. We didn't take vacations or anything. Like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I didn't have to wear toughskins. And I was able to go to private college, which they had saved for. But if they had money, I wasn't privy to it outside of my education.
Well, a lot of those things have to do with spending time with you. Now, I've spent a little bit of time with your son, and he's a delight. So I can see why you would want to go to a baseball game and spend time with him. So maybe it wasn't a factor of money that prevented your father or anyone else taking the games. Maybe they just didn't want to spend time with you.
Now I got to touch the door handle 5 times. Do you think they're related?
Did you know?
I wouldn't spend time with me when I was Miles' age. When I was 16, I was a piece of garbage. I had just gone through that long sickness. I didn't know if I was going to be able to function in society, to be honest with you. You stay home for 6 months sick.
What'd you have, mono?
No, I got it, but I had an autoimmune thing that got into my intestine, and then they didn't know what it was. It was almost like a Nicholas situation where I would bust his balls so much about it, kind of. Like, they didn't know what was wrong with me, and then they finally, whatever happened, it went away, like, after 3 months. But during that time, I had no immunity to anything. So I got mono, and it certainly wasn't from kissing anyone.
You're like a bubble boy.
Yeah, I wasn't even leaving the house, but I somehow got mono. And then when I had mono, I got chicken pox when I had mono. So, like, I had all, like, my whatever white blood cell count, whatever it was, when I was 16 years old, 15 going into 16, because I got my driver's license. Like, I crawled into the DMV, basically. My picture was me full of chicken pox. I did go in. Oh, you could have gotten people sick? Sure. But, I was so sick at his age. If I was my parents, I was probably so sick of me.
Ugh.
They probably wanted me out of that house lickety-split, my friend. Don't worry about it.
I got one more email here that I didn't get to last week. This is from Larry. I didn't know this. Fred, I'm guessing you knew that Jim Rome's sports show now is exclusively on X?
Yeah, and it's X-rated now. I can finally go off the chain.
Did you know this, Wallach?
No,
Jim,
I did not.
Your new show is so erotic on X. When you told the story of the chambermaid going into the stables to talk to the guy who is taking care of the horses, they rode around nude on horseback and then frolicked in a olive grove. Jim, you painted the picture of romance and sex in such a way that it rekindled my belief in love. Finally, uncensored Jim Rome. X desperately throwing things against the wall, seeing if something will stick. This is when a billionaire has a toy where there are no ramifications for losing money. He will fire every employee at that place, but yet get Mr. Beast and Jim Rome to do exclusive content. And of all the radio people you could have hired and all the people in the world, you chose me, Jim Rome, who is best known for being attacked by a football player in the early 90s. Repping big mistakes. Repping being the 50th choice. This is good. This is like when Dan Patrick went to the Audience Network. Well done. You went from being on SportsCenter with millions of eyes on you to being on a place where you have to have DirecTV, even though now there's literally no reason to have it because they don't even have the exclusive NFL rights. Yeah, he's on X now.
Yeah.
But he was on CBS Radio before, and I don't know how much of a moneymaker that was for him.
I mean, I don't know.
I have a feeling.
I don't know what's getting more ears or eyeballs there.
Look, Jim Rome has made more money in his lifetime than I'll ever make. There's no question about it. But Jim Rome, probably when he negotiated his new deal with CBS Sports Radio, they were probably not offering him very much money. And he probably was looking for an outlet, and he's a big national name. And certainly X wouldn't hire me. So good for Jim Rome.
There you go.
But I guarantee you it was more of a matter of necessity than it was anything else. But Elon Musk is, he's trying to save a dying platform. A dying platform.
Rack him.
I mean, you guys have kids. Are either your kids on Twitter?
Nope. No, neither one.
And neither are mine. They're on Instagram. Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. That's what they're on. Not that I'm a good parent and keep them off social media, but they're just not on it because they have no interest. So Twitter is what Twitter is. It's an echo chamber for people that aren't going to matter. Their opinions aren't going to matter, myself included, in the very near future. All right, what's coming up in this deck? You were so confident when you talked to Mike Lockhart about it.
No, we were talking about some other stuff, but let me tell you, if you're wondering who is going to be at Tom Brady's ceremony, we're going to need to carve out some time to let you know.
Is he getting married again? It's too soon.
No, it's not that type of a ceremony.
Oh, at baptism, it's about time.
No. Also,
John, at baptism is when someone you're welcomed into a church.
Oh, okay.
What you did was the reverse of that. You walked away from Judaism.
Sure.
Someone else got hacked. This could affect a lot of people. And a moment at a concert that the woman behaved in such a way where I have nothing but admiration for her, because I guarantee I would not have reacted the same way.
Wendy O. Williams.
That's the one. Don't spoil it.
Okay, we will be back in just a moment. Here are your headlines.
You, Dan, I know you
totally-
feel the same way.
I'm totally sparked up. Totally, I got sparked fever. I went. Toucher and Hardy. The Stack is brought to you by the Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best Fords, Best Ford in Nashua. Head to the bestfordnh.com. Watch Toucher and Hardy every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. I one email, and I will address it because it's in a moment of frank honesty. A guy who emails named Filthy Degenerate said, "Hey, Fred, let it go. You won. It's over. I know." But he just pisses me off so much. I apologize. I gotta get it. I just can't. Hardy, I'm working on it.
Let go. It's over. Nobody listens to techno. That's what Eminem wants.
And he's got a new song out called Abracadabra. Have you heard the new Eminem song, gentlemen?
No, but the courtesy of Dan O'Brien, I was reading up on Steve Miller being very excited about, I think it was Dan who sent that story, Steve Miller being very excited about Abracadabra being sampled.
Yeah, and there are these really weak articles about Eminem because he says you can't cancel me, and that upsets a certain sect of people like AV Club and stuff. And they're like people right now when they write things, they're like, they'll be like, Eminem is facing backlash from fans or from people on the internet. So it's not like the author of it is offended by what he said. It's that they're just covering that random people are offended by what he said.
Right.
Which is a really strange way of doing business. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be, the article would be like, Eminem says these things, I don't like it, they're terrible, or Eminem has a new song where he says these things. Not people are upset at Eminem and here is 4 tweets about it. That's like such a crappy way of writing an article.
Yeah.
Like, have an opinion on it or state the facts. Don't put random people on Twitter. It takes all the onus off of you. You're not a journalist at that point. And then you're not an op-ed writer. You're not like an opinion writer or a columnist. They did that to me. And I'll tell you what.
Is this you letting it go?
No, this is about something else.
Okay.
There's a police detail here. The guy's great. But they're here because of awful announcing. Awful announcing, if something happens to me, are culpable. I hope they know that. All right. Go ahead.
Tom Brady's ceremony at Gillette Stadium is a week from Wednesday. Do you know who's going to be there?
I bet you anything Julian Edelman will be there.
Apparently everybody.
Yeah.
Mike Reese in his Sunday Notes column said hundreds of Tom Brady's former teammates are expected to be in attendance for this shindig at Gillette Stadium on June 12th. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to be. I know that was like the big announcement when they brought Brady back last fall, and there was going to be a really special surprise. And I argued with the guys at Patriots.com during our post-game show that day. They're like, wow, that was really something. I said, that was nothing. That was the big announcement. Come back in June. That was the big announcement. Where's the statue?
Yeah.
Where's that? What?
Yeah.
You're naming the lighthouse, the Brady. What? Come back in June for speeches. Okay.
Yeah, like you're honoring the greatest player in NFL history.
Yeah, we
who
were
played
all
for your
kind of
team.
surprised. We figured that they would stretch the Brady celebration out over the entire season because they knew, like we did, that the team was going to be horrible. So
Well, they might get
something to look at over here while the on-field product sucks.
Well, 2 things about attending the Brady thing is, one, I would do it because I'm sure they all really appreciate him, winning them championships, and that how much they all respected him. And 2, if I'm interested in still being a name in this town or being able to get endorsements, I want my ass there in as many pictures as I can get in. I want to be associated with him. He just signed. He's a guy with no personality that's getting paid tens of millions of dollars a year to talk and have an opinion. And if his name gets him that, I want as much runoff from that as I can get.
Yeah.
So I would go. Absolutely, I would go.
Do you know who Taylor Momsen is?
No, but is it a riddle? You could be a mom and a son?
No. Taylor Momsen is the lead singer of the band called The Pretty Reckless, and she was on stage at a concert recently, and the crowd is yelling at her, trying to point her, and she's like, what? I don't know what's going on.
You guys are pointing at something, and I don't know what you're saying. There's a taking flying bat on my leg right now. Can someone help me, please?
There was a bat attached to her leg, like on the hemline of her skirt.
You got to bite the head off that thing.
It was a bat that was attached to her, and she said, "There's a bat attached to my leg right now. Could somebody help me, please?" And a couple of stagehands came out, and they were like standing there looking at her, and she continued talking. And she's like, "Oh, my God, bah, bah, bah." And then she said, "Oh, don't worry, the bat's okay. Ha, ha, ha," and went on with the show. What would you do?
How much do you think that biting the head off the bat, how much money do you think that made Ozzy Osbourne?
Tens of millions of dollars.
John, ding, ding, ding. Because just being the
Tens of millions of dollars.
Right.
People still, when they talk about Ozzy, talk about that.
Okay, so here's the two things that he did. Ozzy was such a mess when Sharon took him in to get a solo deal because he had left Black Sabbath. You know, Black Sabbath was moving on with Ronnie James Dio. He goes into this record company meeting, and they release dubs. Like the plan is to release these dubs. So they go to release the dubs, and one doesn't leave the box. So Ozzy grabs it and bites the head off of it in front of all the record company people. Now he's infamous. So one day there's a show, and people are throwing all this crap on stage, and he picks up what he thinks is a costume bat, like a fake bat, a novelty bat. And he picks it up because why would you think it would be a real bat? It's just sitting there, picks it up, bites the head off of it, and that one's like kind of by accident. When I was a kid, I was petrified of Ozzy Osbourne for that reason. That lady, you bite the head off that bat. What do you know about Alice Cooper? What did he do?
He had a snake.
He threw a live chicken into the audience because he thought chickens could fly.
Oh.
And he threw a live chicken into the
Les
audience.
Nessman?
Yeah, exactly. I think that might have been based on actually the Alice Cooper thing. Alice Cooper's playing an outdoor show.
Right.
Someone throws a live chicken on the stage. He throws it back into the crowd, and the crowd rips it apart. Now Alice Cooper's the worst guy in the history of the world. Shep Gordon, who was his manager at the time, has a documentary. He's like, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to Alice. It was like the greatest thing. Because now he's sacrificing animals. The story became so much different than it actually was.
Good golfer, too.
Oh, you don't say. He plays golf in celebrity tournaments?
Yeah. He was down to about a 6 handicap for a time.
It just shows you that you can be 5'6", 100 pounds, and still hit the hell out of the ball.
Yep.
That's the sport Hardy loves. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone enjoy yourselves, for God's sakes. Bye.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Looking for the perfect gift for dad or grad? 99 Restaurants gift cards are perfect. And now, for every $50 you purchase, you'll receive 2 $5 bonus cards for yourself.